Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, my neighbor.
Good morning to life. Music, talk, inspiration, in perspective.
Express yourself.
Good morning, my neighbor.
Citi FM, your station.
It's a refreshing lifestyle.
Citi FM 97.3.
Me won't celebrate, Samikaya. Na me pentemede, mara me boa me ho. Onya me na seme so, oti me munti, Samikaya na me jai. Me won't semino, Samikaya. Na me pentemede, mara me boa me ho. Minya me na semi so, ashe ye inti, semikaya na me jai, na me jai. Niya sumje, me shrimp bo, me hiya butter, susura butter.
Unleashing the power of record radio. This is Citi 97.3.
The City Breakfast Show. Rise above the noise. This is the City Breakfast Show. The city's biggest conversation.
Shenyim pasuyente, Abrame jayim pono. I want you riba, na mesubari wasisa. Sum sum kokro yeso, oti mi munti semikaya na meja. Shenyim pasuyente, Abrame jayim pono. I want you to grab in a woman, I'm a super, you are sister. Some control is so. Ultimate Munzi, or check me and let me try. Let me try. Me, some J, Mr. I want. Me, I'm a terror. So, sir, I'm a terror. Monsieur Wasemde, me kuma miwa, mezing kuku, hey kuku, masem ya wasem, misu ya wusu, mi hiamotar, sosarabotar, wasem sejen, se kuma miwa, mezing
25 after 6, Tuesday morning, 3rd June 2025, 97.3 Citi FM. Good morning and welcome to a brand new day, a brand new promise, a brand new opportunity. And while we take advantage of this brand new opportunity, we are reminded by this amazing song that in distress, when we are anxious, when we panic, and we want to make decisions out of the circumstances and the frustrations we feel, sometimes it's good to take a pause, take a step back, reflect a bit deeply, be a little bit more patient. Take a deep breath before we make certain decisions. So do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. That's Philippians 4:6. Also, 1 Peter 1:5-7 tells us to cast all our anxiety on Him because He cares. So this morning, remember that someone cares for you. That's the word. Don't be in a hurry to help yourself sometimes. Don't give in to the pressure because you are in the storm. Remember, you are not alone. You have someone who is able to say to the storm, peace be still. So learn to lean in. I often say, before you run to LinkedIn, learn to lean in. Leaning on His provision, leaning on His power, leaning on His providence, and He will come through for you. That's our way of starting your morning for you. We are leaning in on His provision, leaning in on His providence, leaning in on His protection, because you know what? With all your strong faith and strong showmanship, you cannot do it all by yourself. So learn to lean in. As a message for you this morning, we call it Business Sense, brought to you by Access Bank. Access Bank is certainly more than banking. Oh, absolutely grateful to Joe Bicham for this masterpiece. Reverend Joe Bicham, amazing timeless song, teaching us to lean in and learn to ask for help and trust in God for His help eternal. And Access Bank is proud to be associated with Business Sense. Access Bank says, Obe check wo, and your poverty will run away. Also, Faketwa Bejikesi, Kai. Access Bank Day for you. Simply, you have to deposit a minimum of 250 Ghana cedis into your new or existing Access Bank current or savings account. Join the promo, increase it to 500 Ghana cedis or more, and qualify for a draw. Now, for our youth customer solo accounts, spend just about 500 Ghana cedis or more with any Access Visa card and qualify for a reward. The more you deposit, the higher your chances of winning. So don't sit back. Deposit now and stand a chance to win a share of over 500,000 Ghana cedis in cash and other amazing rewards like PS5, iPhone 16, Chromebook, and much more in our 4 monthly mini draws and 2 mega draws. It's a promo that's running from now to September in partnership with the NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform. Terms and conditions apply. Join the Faketwa Beji Kasia train. Save now for the future and win big. www.ghana.accessbankplc.com is the website. Call toll-free number 0800 004400. Access Bank, more than banking. Enti assembly na ewo. It's a kaya. This morning you can share your assembly with us. Whatever it is, we are here. Happy to share in your situation and bring solutions to you. 0549986996 is a very interactive show. Join in, let's do this together. My name is Caleb Kuda. Good morning and you're welcome to the show.
The City Breakfast Show. Rise above the noise.
If you have 250 Ghana cedis right now, it can do wonders for you. Chairman, Fabeji, it could turn your tears into joy in the Access Bank Fakitwa Beji Kesie promo. Madam, Fabeji, it could get you up to 50,000 Ghana cedis cash prize. Business owner, Fabeji, as a student, make transactions with your Access Bank card, and that could get you Spotify and Netflix subscriptions, PS5, iPhone 16 Pro Max, and more. This is be out of class Enzo. Fabeji, you see what 250 Ghana cedis can do for you? And Gasakra. Fabeji, it's the Access Bank Fakitwa Beji Kesie promo. Deposit a minimum of 250 Ghana cedis and its multiples in your your new or existing account and be on your way to winning a share of the 580,000 Ghana cedis in cash prizes and other amazing rewards. The more you deposit, the more your chances of winning. Promo runs from now to September 2025. This promo is in partnership with NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform. Terms and conditions apply. Access Bank, more than banking.
Join the conversation on the City Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag CityCBS.
Unleashing the power of relevant radio. This is City 97.3.
That Brewer Manziba is a clarion call for all to join in the business of nation building, the enterprise of building the nation, all together as one. Jumping into the news review shortly, brought to you by Fidelity Bank. From the dreams of youth to the ambitions of adulthood, wherever you are on your journey, starting a career, building a family, growing a business, planning a future, we are on the journey with you. Every goal deserves the chance to flourish, and with hard work, dedication, and a strong belief in yourself, the seed of greatness is within reach. Trust in the journey. Understand that Fidelity Bank is with you every step of the way. Together, let's turn your dreams into reality. We're here for your journey. Believe with us.
Momentum on your grabber, no may see much.
37 after 6. Good morning to Bernardino Koku Able.
Thank you very much, Caleb. Good morning to you.
Good to see you, Bernard. How you doing today?
As they say, burden sick campaign with they are still.
So, what's that burden?
No, this one you need.
I can't say.
You need to either drink something or smoke something to understand it.
Oh my God!
The Sky understands.
Which is Sky understands.
Yeah, burden sick campaign with they are still.
With they are still.
Yeah, man.
So we are ruled.
We are ruled.
And the burn it out.
And one only. All you know is and the burn it out.
Yeah, man. We'll jump into the papers better.
All right, so the daily graphic is big. Indeed, lots of people are big on mining because a big mining summit is happening in Ghana. And so no permit, no excavator, policy enforced to strengthen Galamsey fight. Right. President Mahama at mining summit. Also, Ferrata declared wanted again. Special prosecutor initiates extradition process. Also, MPs should have 3-term limits. That's an interesting one. From fora participants. MPs should have 3-term limits. And Ghana committed to fight corruption. Speaker of Parliament assures AU. On the back page, kidney screening, prostate checks necessary. This is Professor Chi. And then Korean embassy partners clean up beaches in Crow municipality. Oh, Charlie, they should have involved us in some of these things, So that's very good, Sky.
Okay, let me take you to the Ghanaian Times for this morning. The president is here on the front page smiling with the Otumfuo who visited him yesterday, and they were at a public function together mining. Now, the big story says major milestone in Galamsey fight. Illegal miners flushed out of 8 forest reserves. President reveals, and also the story about the kidney matter you were talking about. Also, abandoned borrowed Western mode of fighting corruption. That's coming in from the OSP. And UK backs Morocco's Sahara Autonomy Plan as most credible solution to the problem.
Matter. Daily Guide is leading with Want to Me Freed, satisfies 50 million city bill. Also, minority enters fake doctor saga. Ofreata back on OSP wanted red list. And Sajinasi youth protest illegal miners invasion of a Tiwa forest. Meanwhile, 25 rescued from kidnappers, and this kidnappers is in quotation marks.
Let me take you to the Chronicle. Big story. Ajabeng talk staff. Oforiatta can't be treated like a king. He says he is a fugitive from justice. Also, Cecilia Dape's case back to Iyoko. And some other stories here on the front page.
The graphic business leads with Ghana's CCC plus rating and red flag for capital market borrowing. This is an analysis. Also, BOG provides $20 million forex to BDCs so they can lift finished product. We will have supply of petrol. The center spread has details of the forum they did. Ghana risk debt trap without revenue reforms. This is Setepe speaking at the recent graphic EcoBank Economic Forum.
Let me take you now to the overseer. The big story says gold board sanitizes gold sector, yields $2.7 billion in exports. This is according to President John Dramani Mahama. Also on the front page, don't disappoint Mahama. Otumfuo cautions government appointees. Wuntumi's bail turns campaign platform for MPP flag bearer aspirants. And Samuel Atamensa is quoted here on the front page as saying MPP enrich foreigners than party loyalists.
Okay, let's come to Daily Post. Why do MPP leaders suddenly fall sick when arrested for or invited for interrogation by the state investigative agencies? This is like a thesis topic, but it's the front page. Why do MPP leaders suddenly fall sick? And the story is on pages 8 and 9, so it's a lot. Meanwhile, I want to read this from Iyoko Custody is also in the Daily Post. OSP to file criminal charges in 280 million cedi corruption scandal at MPA, and OSP places former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta on the wanted list again.
And okay, finally from me, the Economic Times is out this morning and has the Finance Minister Kese Lato-Forson smiling on the front page. Ghana accelerating back to debt sustainability as Citi strengthens. That's the big story. Also, Energy Report pushes for great upgrades, efficiency reform as Minister directs ECG to deploy 200 transformers. Also, 24-hour economy, Mahama lays blueprint as venture capital, and I think it should be Mahama lays out blueprint. And Volta Lake to play pivotal role.
Finally, in the national standard, OSP reorders Ken Ofori-Atta. OSP redeclares, forgive me, Ken Ofori-Atta a fugitive. That story made the front page. Also, the Want to Me release made it to the front page as well. Tumbuafo slams Want to Me detention outcry. Highlights NDC silent ordeals under MPP. And then here's one on football. West Ham open to £65 million Mohamed Kudus sale amid Newcastle interest.
Nice. We will wait for you to bring Ofori-Atta back. Frank Davis dares OSP. This is channel1news.com. Woman sues hospital for installing CCTV in breast exam room, cites privacy violation. Wuntumi's rights not violated by Iyoko over bail delay. This is Inusa Fuseni. Wuntumi's health has deteriorated. He needs medical attention. Enoch Afuakwa, his lawyer, is saying Mahama gold board boosts Ghana's gold exports to $2.7 billion in 4 months. Don't change, stay humble and deliver. Otumfuo tells Mahama. The OSP declares Ofori-Atta wanted again. You've heard that already. If you go to citynewsroom.com, there's something big on cocoa here. Cocoa farmers renew push for 70% share of global cocoa prize. And the Public Accounts Committee says it saved Ghana over 273 million Ghana cedis in 2024. This is according to Bagbin. One of us was in trouble. Brian Echampul explains Want to Me bill support. And President Mahama is expressing confidence in Otumfuo's mediation efforts in Boko. If you go to majoraonline.com, we are churning out lawyers who can't move a court. This is Kweku Ansah-Asare, who is also saying that the legal education bill is troubling. It's half the solution. He is former director of the law school. Oforiatta, diagnosed with cancer, special prosecutor informed mobile data prices to fall, users to get more value. This is Sector Minister Sam George. Iyoko reopens Cecilia Dapa case that's here as well. Let me take you elsewhere quickly. Why China is betting big on salt batteries, and this is BBC. Striking from within, Ukraine's daring attack on Russia. That's CNN.
All right.
Gentlemen,
let me take you to the
details.
let me take you to the BBC briefly, and then I'll show you something on Reuters. I think it's important. BBC has a very troubling headline for Africa: 1 death every 7 minutes. The world's worst country to give birth, and this is Nigeria. It accounts for 29% of global maternal deaths, a lack of medics and poor facilities. Now here's good news: Bill Gates to give most of his $200 billion fortune to Africa. I think we should do one logo line and go and collect some of the money. Then more than 700 Sky. Yeah. Now the reason this flooding story troubles me is today is June 3. You know, 10 years ago today we lost over 150 people to a flood and fire conflagration. Nigeria has lost more than 700 people in devastating floods in the Middle Belt. This is really, really serious. And then Reuters is also leading with a few stories. There's troubling reports in Congo, because the Reuters Africa is reporting that Rwanda-backed rebels in Congo executed civilians. And this is Human Rights Watch saying. And then there's also a few other stories there. So let's start with mining.
Okay, I thought we could do the flooding since today.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
So there's a story on page 10 of the Ghanaian Times quoting Francis Asanso-Boakye as saying flooding is national crisis, and Bernard, the rains are not stopping anytime soon. If you go to the story, it's by a Times reporter, and it says the Member of Parliament for Bantama, Mr. Francis Asanso-Boakye, has called for a national people-led approach to tackling the growing menace of urban flooding across the country. Now, contributing to a statement in Parliament by the Adenta Member of Parliament, Mohammed Adamu Ramadan, on the recent floods in his constituency, Asanso-Boakye stressed that flooding was not a localized issue, but a national challenge demanding an urgent and sustained action. There's a quote here that says, as someone who grew up in Bantama, an urban community, and now represents the same area in Parliament, I am acutely aware of the complex challenges in the area of flooding and how they pose problems to the settlements they live in and related matters.
All right.
Parliament was, is basically calling for some action on the subject matter.
Now, Daily Graphic leads with the mining summit. President says a no permit, no excavator policies in force. President John Mahama has announced a strict no permit, no excavator policy as part of sweeping measures to clamp down on illegal mining and promote sustainable practices in the mining sector. And he was speaking at the opening of the Mining in Motion Summit in Accra yesterday. The president declared that henceforth no excavator will be allowed into the country without prior permit, and that all equipment will be tracked to monitor their use in the mining activities. Now, the Ghanaian Times angle talks about 8 forest reserves cleared of illegal miners.
Exactly.
Now, I want you to give me that, and then I'll give you an article by Daryl Bosu on page 45, which I think is quite profound. It says, state of emergency does not mean shoot and kill. But he's explaining it because he believes that people caricature the calls of civil society to justify their own intentions. But let's deal with the Ghanaian Times first.
So the story is in this or on the center spread, says that major milestone in Galamsey fight, illegal miners flushed out of 8 forest reserves, according to the president. Now, my good friend Julius Yaupetici, writing for the Ghanaian Times, says that the government has successfully flushed out illegal miners from 8 of 9 no-go forest reserves. President John Dramani Mahama has reported. Now, in his view, this is a major milestone in the country's fight against illegal mining and the menace that it has unleashed on the people of Ghana. Now, addressing the Global Mining Summit in Accra on Monday, June 2, 2025, President Mahama said government was unwavering in restoring the purity of polluted water bodies, restoring depleted forest reserves, and reclaiming...
Still at that event, the president spoke about the gold board and the success.
Yes, he says it has boosted Ghana's gold exports to $2.7 billion in 4 months. President Mahama has revealed that the introduction of the Ghana Gold Board initiative has helped sanitize the sector, that's the gold sector, significantly boosting the country's export revenue. Speaking at the same event, Ghana has already generated $2.7 billion in gold export earnings for the country within the first 4 months of the year.
Okay, let me add a quick footnote. If you go to page 2 of the Ghanaian Chronicle, there's a story there that says police arrest 20 illegal miners in 3-day crackdown. Now, the story is from Isaac Ako in Cape Coast. Says within a span of 3 days, the Central North Regional Police Command successfully arrested 20 illegal miners during separate operations conducted in the Upper East and West districts of the Central Region. Now, leading the effort was the anti-Galamsey operations team, which also confiscated 4 excavators, 8 pumping machines, and 8 chamfans, which are basically dredging machines. Now, the police also set fire to 8 pieces of illegal mining equipment found in the site or at the site as part of the crackdown. In addition, the command has solicited public support to apprehend 3 people. Their names are Kwesiata, Abuaje da Costa, and Apeti.
Let me end with this one. State of emergency is not shoot to kill. Darobosu of Arucha says, let's be clear here. The deliberate twisting of demand by civil society organizations to avoid taking decisive action over Galamsey must stop. He says the CSO's call for a state of emergency is not a demand for its blanket application across the entire country or even all mining affected areas. The CSOs are calling for a state of emergency, specifically in our forest reserves and rivers, not nationwide or in every mining zone. Now, don't forget, yesterday, the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences also did a series of presentations on Galamsey. So, whilst the mining summit was going on, the Academy was also speaking to different civil society groups and academics on the work on Galamsey. And I think this is a very good chance for us to move forward in the discussion.
Okay, so shall we take you now to corruption or alleged corruption and related matters?
So Wontumi released and Nufuriata wanted. Those are the big stories.
And I think Cecilia Dapa too is back.
Exactly. So let me tell you about Cecilia Dapa and Ken Ofori-Atta. So if you go to page 3 of the Ghanaian Chronicle, the story there says is by Benis Bessie, and it says the Office of the Special Prosecutor has questioned why former Finance Minister Kenneth Nanaya Ofori-Atta believes he deserves special treatment in an ongoing investigation into alleged corruption and related offences. Now, the press briefing in Accra on Monday, June 2, 2025, Special Prosecutor Kesie Jabeng emphasized that no individual, regardless of title or position, is above the law. Now, he cited former President John Dramani Mahama as an example of a high-profile figure who complied with similar investigative procedures without issue. There's a quote here that says, this office investigated a former president. He was served the same kind of directive to appear before the OSP. We didn't have to chase him around the world. So why much less a former minister? What is so special about Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta that he thinks is unique and should be treated like a king? Now, moving on from there.
So just whilst you are there, another angle is that the special prosecutor in the press conference said that Ofori-Atta was diagnosed with cancer. According to that, of course, when Umaru Sanda interviewed Ofori-Atta's lawyer, he says he's not a doctor, so he cannot know the exact condition.
But is that for the special prosecutor to be disclosing?
I don't even know why, but it's in the news, so that's what I'm just pointing out.
And his lawyer is also saying that they will wait for the OSP to bring Ofori-Atta back.
So yes, so basically his lawyer says that the man is not well, he cannot attend upon the OSP. Then we are told now that the OSP has also asked for Cecilia Dapa's docket.
Yes, so Iyoko is asking for
Iyoko, forgive me.
Yes. So the story is by Jennifer Ambole, and it says the Office of the Special Prosecutor, and you have to go back to page 3 of the Ghanaian Times, has officially returned the case involving former Minister of Sanitation and Water Resources Cecilia Dapa to the Economic and Organized Crime Office for renewed investigation. Now, this was announced at yesterday's press conference.
I think the biggest story of the day was Wontumi freed, satisfies 50 million cedi bill condition. Daily Guide is leading with that. He says the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the New Patriotic Party, Bernard Inchibuesiako, popularly known as Chairman Wontumi, has satisfied the 50 million cedi bill condition imposed by Iyoko and has been released after spending 7 days in detention. Then the details of the story are given. Now, we are told that the sureties were met, but there had to be a withdrawal of a particular case, which was to have been heard today to facilitate his freedom, at least for now. Now, we are also told that MP for Abetifi Bani Champong is one of his sureties. Quote, we have just completed the inspection of the property. The next step is for the officials to verify their value to determine if they meet the bill conditions. said Member of Parliament Brian Champong, who is one of the sureties, before his release, Wontemi's legal team had withdrawn a motion seeking a review of the 50 million bill condition. The motion, which was filed at the High Court on May 30, was scheduled to have been heard today, June 3. However, private legal practitioner Jeremy Mako, acting on behalf of the MPP chairman, filed the application for withdrawal on Monday, clearing the way for his release.
Okay, now let me return to the
So
Ghanaian.
finally, Ioko has not filed formal charges yet.
Okay.
But according to a lawyer for Wontemi who spoke on CNR yesterday, Mr. Wontemi has been cautioned in relation to causing financial loss to the state.
It looks really bad. I think he
Yes,
should be in hospital.
indeed. There's a you are right. The story, there's a very interesting, I won't call it story, it's almost like an analysis by one of the newspapers. The Daily Post is asking, why do MPP leader Salini Forsik, when arrested or invited for interrogation? So they cite Professor Meyer Kumfi, they cite Wontumi, and then they also then cite Ken Ofori-Atta. So they sort of put in three things together to try and make a case that it looks as if people use ill health as an excuse. Although I think you need to treat this on a case-by-case basis, because when it comes to people's health, you cannot play politics with it.
Exactly. So let me take you to page 12 of the Chronicle. There's a story that we should be interested in. Election of MMDC is back on the table.
Okay.
And it comes with a photograph of Ahmed Ibrahim, the Minister for Local Government. Now, Maxwell Ofori, reporting for the Chronicle, says that Parliament has revisited the long-held discussion on the need to elect the various metropolitan, municipal, and district chief executives. Now, members of Parliament across the aisle have always supported the move, leading to the attempt to implement the same in 2019 by the Eswal Akufo-Addo administration. But for the last-minute misunderstanding on the modalities, it compelled the then president to pull the brakes on the subject. MMDCs may have been elected by now, not appointed. Now, on the floor of Parliament on Thursday, May 29, 2025, both sides of the House called for a workable framework towards the implementation of an elective system, which they believed would be helpful in improving.
There's a good article on this on page 7 of the graphic by engineer Emmanuel Kofi Baja. He's asking, should MMDCs be elected on partisan or non-partisan basis? I think that's a very good question.
The debate is back.
Two quick points for you.
Sure.
Citizens call for inclusion in constitutional review process. This is Kwesi Jonah, head of advocacy at IDEC, page 19 of the graphic. But the one I wanted to touch on was the 3-term limit for MP proposal on page 13 at a forum this week. So it's a very interesting proposition that somebody is asking for MPs to be given 3-term limits instead of allowing them to have. So the story is, so it's supposed to continue from page 13, but they were quoting,
mixed up a bit.
Yes, Dr. Kojo Asante, I think.
Right. I want to take you to the fuel side of things because recent fuel price reduction woefully inadequate is the argument of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, criticizing the latest price reductions at the pump, describing it as woefully inadequate for consumers. I'm reading from citynewsroom.com. You're speaking to City Business News, where Duncan Amwa says the reduction that has been passed for the first window, June, is good but woeful. As of Friday, you had BDC selling around 8 Ghana cedis a litre for petrol and between 8 cedi 50 pesos to 9 Ghana cedis for diesel. If you add the cumulative tax incidence of 3.27 and the OMC margin of 40 to 50 pesos a litre, you do not expect any OMC to do anything about 11.70 at this point, but you still have some selling at 12 Ghana cedis and above. It tells you that there is clearly a challenge somewhere.
Maybe people should check what the station is offering before they go there, because that's the whole point of deregulation. Right? We're told the BDCs have been given $20 million to buy finished products in a bid to shore up foreign exchange liquidity for the downstream petroleum sector. This is graphic business. The Bank of Ghana has disbursed $20 million to 6 bulk oil distribution companies through its foreign exchange forward auction. The auction held on Wednesday, May 28, was priced at a locked exchange rate of 10.33 cedis to the US dollar, with bid offers ranging between 9 cedis and 10 cedis. This latest intervention forms part of BOG's broader strategy to mitigate the impact of persistent volatility in global energy markets on the domestic economy. So this links to what you're reading.
Right.
If they get the dollar at a good price and they can lift the products at a good price, then they should reward us
reflect
at the pump. And I think some of the stations, I think Goil and Star Oil also announce reductions. The others who have reduced should also let us know so we can let the public
It's
know.
very important. Sky.
Quickly, still within the economic space, quickly, if I can take this story from Toma Imi here on the front page of the Ghanaian Times. It says Ghana accelerating back, the Economy Times, forgive me, accelerating back to debt sustainability as Citi strengthens. Now, the story says the government of Ghana has started hoping that a key macroeconomic target for 2028, that is for reaching a public debt sustainability threshold of between 56 and 58% of GDP, and that could actually be achieved as early as the end of this particular year. Now, this is coming on the back of the CD's sharp appreciation against the United States dollar, which has seen it appreciate more than 40% against the American greenback this year.
Well, it's June 3, and later this evening we'll bring you a documentary that recaps that dreadful day, June 3 disaster, 10 years later. Check it out on 7.
Was it a Tuesday
7
as well?
p.m.
Yes, it was a Tuesday.
Are you sure it was Tuesday?
It must have been a Tuesday.
So Kweku David and the team put together a very compelling documentary reminding us all.
So that's at 7 p.m.
7 p.m. on Channel 1 TV. We are learning that Nigeria is losing about 700
so
lives.
500 people have been officially confirmed dead. Another 500 people missing in a town in central Niger State. And rescue efforts had ceased because authorities no longer believe anyone could still be found alive.
That's crazy.
Now, floods, the worst in 6 years, swept through Mokwa district of Tifin, Maza, and Aguwan, Hausawa after torrential rains. And there's a lot of, devastation in that country. We're also told that Nigeria is one of the worst countries to give birth because the maternal mortality rate is very, very high. It's a very special feature done by the BBC on that country.
Okay, June 3 was actually on Wednesday.
It's a Wednesday. Okay, June 3 was a Wednesday.
Black Wednesday.
And the guys who were involved in the highway robbery,
that's right.
the police have picked them up.
4 of them have been arrested. And there's also cases of robbery in the Afram Plains area. We'll deal with that later on the show. Thank you.
All right, gentlemen, thank you. That was the news review.
My body, when you wake up in the morning and you know the money calling, oh, you go work, but you know it's out your side. If I believe with us, if I hold my hand and believe, cause you know it's out your side. And when you dream, no say I did for you. And when you hustle every day, many wanna go. Anything you do, I did for you. Many want. If I believe I did your side, fidelity. If I believe with us, fidelity. If I know I did your side, fidelity.
Oh, jump on now. Go. Gugomi, now what time will you come back where I don't hear the sound of your car? Why you buy new car?
No, I don't change my car. It be the same ride. It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, it's so.
This is the type of fuel where they want to. Because now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, it go protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I go drive, sir.
Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protector. And what they bust my mind said, be the 3-in-1 action, no? Excellium, they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion. Won't pay when I open them.
Hey, so where can I find this magical fuel?
Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you.
Hey, then make a finish my gobe fast, then rush go Total Energies. My friend, but why your hand my gobe inside?
I give you info. Make a fill the gobe too small.
The gogo.
Excellium is designed to protect your car engine, decrease fuel consumption, and lower CO2 emissions. Don't say fuel, say Excellium. Choose Excellium, choose quality.
The City Breakfast Show. Rise above the noise.
It's time for the breakfast edition of the City Business News, brought to you by EcoBank and MTN. Nashika Caesar is already here, looking like she's headed for the IMF this morning. Charlie, what's going on? Good morning, Na.
Good morning, Caleb.
Super. What's in the business news?
Hello and welcome to the breakfast edition of the City Business News, proudly brought to you by MTN Goil and EcoBank. I'm Nashika Caesar. Coming up, Ashanti Gold Corporation secures $110 million boost, eyes 500,000 ounce outpost by 2028. Also coming up, local cocoa farmers renew calls for 70% share of gold global cocoa price. And later, Finance Director at Absa Bank Ghana, Kash Nkushi, advocates for adoption of consistent savings habits to build financial stability. Settle for the details of our stories now. Gold miner Ashanti Gold Corporation is pushing with ambitious growth plans as it secures $110 million in fresh funding to expand operations at its Bibiani mine in Ghana. The funds include a $100 million second advance from Fujairah Holdings and a $10 million bridge loan from a local bank expected to scale up its support. Here's more.
The cash injection comes at a critical time. The company says the funds will support ongoing expansion of the Bibiani main pit and completion of the sulfide treatment plant, scheduled for commission in July 2025. A portion will also serve as working capital, while Asante continues to secure long-term financing. So far, conditional credit offers exceeding $250 million have been received, with final arrangement expected by the end of July. Asante is betting on major returns, projecting gold production to exceed 500,000 ounces annually by 2028. The mining company is counting on a strong gold price environment and higher output to drive over $2 billion in free cash flow across the next 5 years.
That was a Business Desk report. Now, the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources is pushing for a focus on 3 key areas to boost growth in the mining sector. Speaking at a stakeholder engagement in Accra, the acting chief director of the Lands and Natural Resources Ministry stressed the need to include local content participation, enhance value addition, and apply the right skills and technology to drive transformation in the industry. He believes these steps are crucial for ensuring sustainable development and greater benefits for Ghanaians from the country's mineral resources.
We need to accelerate 3 transformation priorities: local content expansion, where we will bring our local people. That is why I'm particularly happy that when our president said that majority of the 11,000 and more people who are employed in the mining sector are Ghanaians. We also need to add value to whatever we have, and it should be a thing on the past for the raw materials or the gold to just be exported. We should find other better ways of reforming it and adding value to it so that it will benefit the economy the more. The third one is innovation in the ecosystem, making sure that the right technologies, the skills development are employed to make sure that we are successful in that area.
You had there Innocent Haliga, who is the acting chief director of the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. Moving on, the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, COPEG, is urging petroleum product consumers to be more price conscious and switch to oil marketing companies offering more competitive fuel prices. This call comes on the back of price reductions recorded at the pumps in the first pricing window of June. However, Executive Secretary of COPEC Duncan Amoah tells City Business News that despite the general downward trend, some OMCs continue to sell at significantly higher prices.
We are seeing some still quoting 13 Ghana Cedi, 54 pesos and all of that. That for us is rather high. And so at this point, we can only advise customers or consumers to be price sensitive, possibly switch to the other OMCs that are delivering value for money and price sensitive also. I do not think that the bigger OMCs should continue treating Ghanaians the way they do. I think that at a difference of 1 Ghana cedi per liter between them and some of the oil marketing companies, is simply a rip-off and something ought to give. They ought to come down further.
Dan Kanamoy is Executive Secretary of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, COPEC. Now, some Guinean cocoa farmers are renewing calls for the government to guarantee at least 70% of the free onboard price of cocoa as payment to local producers, arguing that anything less continues to undervalue their contribution to the global cocoa supply chain. This renewed appeal comes on the back of a promise by President John Mahama, who said improved cocoa producer price will be announced in August 2025. In an interview with Citi Business News, the president of the Ghana National Cocoa Farmers Association, Stevenson Ananibuaten, said that while the upcoming announcement is welcome, farmers remain cautious.
Cocoa farmers, we are also Ghanaians, and the work we do also has an impact in the country's economy. The Constitution stated clearly that the FOB price should be considered 70% for farmers. So why do they throw the Constitution away and they always come out with their own projections and proposals? They should always go by the constitutional rule.
Mr. Stevenson and Ananibuaten also urged the government to tread cautiously in pursuing large-scale commercial cocoa farming initiatives that lack well-defined long-term strategies.
I don't see the essence of government proposing for commercial cocoa farms. This is because our first leader, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, he established so many factories and state farms. Where are they now? If they want to go into the commercial farming, they should go away from that side and then try to, make farmers enjoy. We can do and do better for them, just like they've been cheating us.
That was President of the Ghana National Cocoa Farmers Association, Stevenson Ananibuaten, speaking there. Moving away from that, Finance Director at Absa Bank Ghana, Kush Mikushi, is encouraging individuals to adopt a consistent saving habit as a way to build financial stability and prepare for an unexpected life event. He noted that even setting aside small amount regularly can go a long way in helping people avoid unnecessary debt and better manage emergencies. He made a call on week 1 of the Citi Business Festival 2025 honor series on the topic financial planning.
Make the savings as soon as you can in the month and make them on a regular basis. It needs to become habitual. So if you're a salaried worker, as soon as your salary lands, whatever it is, 10%, 15%, 5%, 2%, 1%, whatever it is that you decide is appropriate, move that and set it aside. And then work out your life from what's remaining. Right. Then, if you're a small business, then maybe make it, because your income fluctuates a bit. Same principle, but make it a regular thing. And when you set up this savings account, make it a little bit, difficult to take the money out, so that you have to think before you do that. And the reason I'm saying that is you may have a genuine need for the savings, but in terms of discipline, just give yourself the opportunity to really think about, is this the best use of this money at the time? Because what builds capital over time is compound interest, but it needs time to work.
Kush Mikushi also noted that Absa Bank provides a range of financial planning tools and support services to help customers strengthen their financial well-being.
In terms of how Absa helps, there's a number of products, the standard savings products, the standard investment products, but I think there's one I would call out, which is our Target Save. And this speaks directly to financial planning. So you're targeting, let's say you want to target a new fridge in 2 years' time. You can see that the old one is getting a bit tired, it needs replacement. Then, you can sit down with us and work out what it is you need to save to hit that target. That means you can now, you know exactly what you need to put aside, you can be disciplined about that, and you know that you're working towards something tangible for you and your family.
Kush Mikushi is Finance Director at Absa Bank Ghana. Now, the full conversation with Kush Mikushi on the topic financial planning is later this morning at 9 on the City Breakfast Show on Citi 97.3 FM and also on Channel 1 television. The City Business Festival 2025 is powered by 97.3 Citi FM and Channel 1 television with sponsorship from Absa Bank, MTN Ghana and Zonda Tech Ghana Limited. Now, on the forex market today, the dollar is going for 10 cedis 80 pesos. The British pound is trading at 14 cedis 60 pesos and the euro selling at 11 cedis 90 pesos. That's all for the breakfast edition of the City Business News, proudly brought to you by MTN, Goil and EcoBank. I'm Nashika Caesar. Many thanks for your company. Do you have a great business day?
Charlie, where are you?
Bossman, I'm at the bank.
Really? But your car is in front of your house.
Bro, my bank on my phone, Charlie.
Oh, how?
EcoBank, bro. With EcoBank mobile app, I can do everything, anywhere, anytime. Listen, I just checked my account balance, paid Ahmed's school fees, and sent money to my grandma at Walwale.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Masa, just download the EcoBank mobile app from the Google Play Store or the App Store or dial *770# and be your own bank manager.
Manager.
Whether to pay bills or fees, to check account statements, send money across Ghana, abroad, and more, EcoBank mobile app has got it covered. EcoBank Mobile, making everyday people live everyday lives the EcoBank way. EcoBank, the Pan-African bank.
It's your day off and you end up looking after the baby while your wife goes off to work. You realize you have no idea how to change a diaper. So you video call your wife.
Hello, darling.
Yeah, hello. Hello.
Kojo, is everything all right?
Everything is not all right. I'm not seeing Topo. How do I change a baby's diaper, please?
Kojo. Okay, first, put the diaper.
The video call freezes. While you wait for the internet to catch up, the baby sprouts a fountain and wets the diaper. As you are getting a new one, your wife comes back online.
Kojo, no.
But I had to go and get a new diaper. What must I do next? I beg, quick.
Open the front of the diaper. It's the side that has...
Wow, look. The video freezes again. Abba.
By now, you know where the conversation is going. There's no buffering in real life, so why accept it from your internet connection? Get connected and experience ultra-fast internet to your home, powered by MTN Fiber Broadband. From the Internet Masters.
MTN, everywhere you go. Join the conversation on the City Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag CityCBS.
The City Breakfast Show. Rise above the noise.
It's 13 after 7. Gabi Milito is in the studio. He'll be bringing you the sports news. We call it kickoff. Every day, people face different emergencies: police, fire, medical, you name it. *770# is the new EcoBank money emergency number. If you don't know any emergency number at all, save this one. Save it as Lifeline. *770# because you get instant access to loans, funds transfer, utility payments, airtime and data purchases, and so much more, even without data. One thing I love about it, EcoBank will always come through for you when you have an emergency. You don't need to panic when you find yourself in any money emergency. Dial *770# now for solutions to your money emergencies. EcoBank is the Pan-African bank. And this is to all the boss ladies out there, the go-getters, the planners, do-it-all women building their businesses one bold step at a time. MTN sees you and shares you on every step of the way. MTN has created the MTN Ejumapa just for you. It's more than a bundle. You stay connected to your customers, suppliers, and everything that helps your hustle grow. There is more. MTN Ejumapa also comes with insurance benefits to help protect the business you've worked so hard to build, because we know you're building the future. So it's time to level up and shine brighter than ever before. Dial star 5060 hash and grab your bundle. That's the Ejumapa bundle, and let's get to work on your success story together. MTN Ejumapa, powering women in business. Gabi Melito is here, and Kickoff is also brought to you. Kickoff is brought to you by Polytang, Lecheho, and Shell Helix Ultra Zero W20 SP. We all know when it comes to water storage, the name we all trust is Polytank. Has been here for 30 years, trusted by all generations, available at the same price across Polytank partner stations. No matter the size you want, durability is always assured. Polytank is the original. Always choose the original. We're cautioning you that we don't accept more payments online. Lecheho Don't Commit campaign says they are in for your financial peace. Don't face life challenges alone from now to the end of the month. They've reduced their interest rates just for you, whether it's education, rent, or unexpected expense. Right loan to meet your needs is what you get. So call or WhatsApp now on 02700 4799 02700 4733. Let's make life easier. Act now. Terms and conditions apply. Lecheho, let's improve life. And Premium understands premium. For your premium car, go Premium Oil. Shell Helix Ultra Zero W20 SP with its carbon neutral properties is the one for your premium car. It gives you stronger, long-lasting engine performance. So if you want your classic car to run smoothly like a Ferrari for years to come, use the Shell Helix Ultra Zero W20 SP, made for premium. It's designed for ultimate engine performance. It's time for Kickoff, and Gabi is here. Gabi, you're welcome.
A Bontain father.
Yeah, man. Good to see you.
A Bontain
Yesterday, you
father.
got my nephews asking whether I'm now doing sports journalism. Man, it's good to see you.
Good to see you, Tikele. Well, Tuesday morning. Welcome aboard to Kickoff on 97.3 Citi FM. I'm Gabi Ofe. We're on the wings of Shell Goa, Zonda, GH, Polytang, Ghana, and Lecheho. Let's improve live. In the next 10 minutes, we've got all the updates from the Roland Garros, some Black Stars news, and some updates from the Ghana Football Awards, which is happening on June 13. Alright, so let's start off with the senior national team in Ghana's Black Stars. Will resume competitive action in September-October for the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers. Now, following their standout performances at the recent Unity Cup, Citi Sports spotlights players who could end up a call-up to Otoado's squad for the upcoming qualifiers after performing in the just-ended 2025 Unity Cup in London. There's more in this report.
Ghana's Black Stars missed out on the gold medal at the 2025 Unity Cup, held at London's JTech Community Stadium, but secured third place with a commanding 4-0 victory over Trinidad and Tobago. Head coach Otoado found plenty of positives, particularly from his debutants in the 2023 month squad, offering a glimpse of potential stars for the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers. Caleb Yurinchi, an 18-year product of Ghana's Right to Dream Academy, was a standout. Joining the academy in 2017 at age 11, Yurinchi moved to FC Nose Giants Academy in March 2024, where he debuted for their under-19 team. He earned his first senior call-up for the Unity Cup and made his Ghana debut on May 28, 2025, coming on at halftime in a 2-1 loss to Nigeria Super Eagles. Mohamed Gaddafi Husseini also impressed, marking his debut with a goal in the third-place playoff, contributing to Ghana's 4-0 rout of Trinidad and Tobago. His clinical performance showcased his potential as a key attacking option. On the right flank, 20-year-old Christopher Bonsuba dazzled fans with his flair. A left-footed right winger also versatile as an attacking midfielder. Bar previously led Norway's Elite Serien with 57 successful dribbles and 10 chances created during his stint with Salzburg. Lawrence Ajekum, another rising star, caught Otuado's eye. Ajekum debuted for Ghana on March 21 as a late substitute in a 5-0 win over Chad during the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualification round. Coach Otuado expressed satisfaction with the performances of these young talents, signaling a potential inclusion in the next squad for the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers in September, October.
Yeah, in general, I think we got a lot of answers. It's always good to also look for the future, and I think some of the boys used their chances. They did really, really well, and surely we will continue to observe that.
How well can these players take up their chances when they return for the next competitive games?
These young ones who are coming through will have to prove that they can actually do it at a certain level. The Unity Cup was just a bunch of friendly matches. How will you perform when the stakes are high, when Ghana needs a win to be able to qualify for a competition, when the 40,000 capacity stadium is screaming at you? Will you be able to play? And so, as for the national team sports, when it comes to competitive games, you need to earn your spots. You need to make sure that you are performing well at club level. You need to make sure that your form is good and that you are also a good blend with the team.
All right, so that's it. So we're keeping tabs on the players who would make Otuado's next call-up for the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers. Well, staying with the Black Stars, and former coach James Kwesi, now head coach of Sudan national team, has been appointed for the Ghana Football Awards. He's up against former Black Stars teammates from Paul Manson, Nations FC's coach Kasimo Kansi-Mengo, and Golden Kicks' Fifi Parker Hansen for the prestigious award. Apia guided Sudan to qualify for the 2025 AFCON in Morocco, and he's also positioned Sudan strongly in their World Cup qualification campaign, earning 12 points from 6 matches, just 1 point behind Group B leaders DR Congo. Well, for the Women's Coach of the Year, Police Ladies head coach Abu Kasim as the front runner for the award. Joyce Boate J also championed Ghana's under-15 girls' quest for a hosting win at the 2025 African Schools Football Championship as they defeated Uganda to win their first ever gold medal. There's also Mercy Tego Kwaku, who led the Oaks Football Ladies to win their maiden edition of the Zonal FA Cup title. And so we'll see who win that awards. Well, the Ghana Football Awards ceremony is scheduled for June 14, 2025 at the Grand Arena. That's the Accra International Conference Center. So keep you posted. Well, staying on women's football, Abigail Kofi Kim is one of the players with the Black Queens, and she's excited after receiving a call up to the senior national team for that friendly tie against Ivory Coast, and she says she's ready to contribute to the team's success at the upcoming Women's African Cup of Nations in Morocco.
It's exciting. I'm looking forward to getting started with the team.
Okay, you've been in camp for just like a day and a half. How has the reception been like with the girls?
It's been really great. They've been really welcoming and they all seem really lovely and nice.
Okay. What do you really want to achieve with the Black Queens?
I hope the first step is us winning AFCON and then qualifying for the World Cup after that.
All right, so that's Black Queens forward Abigail Kofi Kim speaking there. Staying with the GPO, head coach of Nations FC Kassim-Mengo is disappointed with following that dramatic turn of events on Sunday when they played Basake Holy Stars. Nations needed just a draw in their pursuit to the GPO title, but in a shocking twist, the team walked off the pitch, citing dangerous conditions that made it impossible to continue.
I'm very disappointed because after hard work, going through all sections and such a thing happened during the last but 2 matches to end the premiership. So I'm very disappointed. After investing a lot in something, football, and you such situation happen to you, you think all the investment you've done has gone in drain. So it's very painful. That's why I say I don't want to go into this matches more. The manager who do the work, I'm the coach.
All right, so that's Nations FC's head coach Kasimo Kansi-Mengo. Well, the GFA is yet to respond after that incident, but the head coach was not too happy with that. Well, in Europe, the UK government has threatened to sue former Chelsea Football Club owner Roman Abramovich to make sure the money from the club sales goes to Ukraine. Now, the £2.5 billion in proceeds have been frozen in a UK bank account since the sale, with Abramovich sanctioned after Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February 2022. And for the UK government, they want the money to be for the Ukrainian humanitarian aid, but Abramovich said he wants it to go to the victims of the war in Ukraine. Well, to some transfer news, Manchester City boss Pep Guardiola has put Ryan Aït-Nouri at the top of his list to solve United's problematic left-back sport. And for Liverpool, they are set to move. That's Callum Kelleher is set to move to Brentford after the clubs agreed a 12.5 million fee for the player, rising to 18 million pounds in add-ons. For United, there's a bit of a news regarding Bruno Fernandes, who is yet to decide whether he wants to move to Al Hilal and it's thought that his family would be considered before he makes a move on that. We'll take more from Sky Sports' Dameshes with more on Bruno's future.
It's a really delicate situation from what I'm hearing. I'm told now that Bruno Fernandes is now discussing with his family about whether he wants to go to Al Hilal and move to Saudi Arabia or remain at Manchester United. He's obviously their captain at Old Trafford. It's thought, though, it's going to be a really, really tough decision for him to make because 30 years old, it's life-changing money that he would be paid. I think Harvey was mentioning before, is it something like £700,000 a week? I mean, that is absolutely crazy, crazy money. And as far as Manchester United are concerned, the talk is that Al Hilal would be prepared to pay £100 million to sign Bruno Fernandes. This is a player who's going to be 31 in September. It should be said here, Manchester United do not want to sell Bruno Fernandes. Ruben Amorim, publicly at least, has said we want him to stay. And when I speak to Bruno Fernandes, the impression I'm getting is that he does want to stay.
Well, really interesting times for United skipper Bruno Fernandes. Well, Chelsea have completed the signing of Sporting Lisbon youngster Dario Isugo, and Chelsea are paying £18.5 million with no add-ons. He's a midfielder, 20 years, and has signed an 8-year deal until 2033. Let's finish off with some tennis. In world number 361, Lois Boysen put off the biggest shock of the this year's Open with a stunning victory over Jessica Pegula. Novak Djokovic in the men's singles, who is chasing a 25th Grand Slam title, also through to the quarterfinals. He beat Cameron Norrie 6-2, 6-3, 6-2. Later today, in the women's singles, there is world number 1 Arina Sabalenka taking on Queen Wenzhen. Elena Svitolina will take on Iga Swiatek. And for the men's singles, you can look forward to Lorenzo Musetti taking on Frances Tiafoe. Tommy Paul of the USA will take on Spain's Carlos Alcaraz in the ongoing French Open. There's more tennis news later, 5 p.m. In the meantime, you can head to citysportsonline.com, and on X, you can find us at City Sports JHA. Kickoff was proudly brought to you by Shell Go World, Le Shell, Let's Improve Life, Politan Ghana, and Zonda GH. I am Gabby Affair. Enjoy the rest of your day. Do take care and bye-bye.
If you need unique services, innovative financial solutions, we deliver on our promise, cause we are number one. Let's share go, we improve your life. Let's share go, let's share go, hey mama, hey mama, hey mama. Even when you're stuck with nothing, no matter your situation, let's share go, we improve your life. Let's share go, hey, let's share go, hey, let's share go, hey mama, hey mama, hey mama. Let's share go, we improve your life.
Where are you headed today? Techiman, Salaga, Aflao, or beyond? At Shell, we believe your true destination isn't just today's journey. It's about where you want your business, your family, and your dreams to be tomorrow. So Shell Rimula is formulated to help you journey better. With anti-wear additives for ultimate protection, Shell Rimula with advanced Protection Plus technology prevents oil thickening and guards against harmful deposits. Shell Rimula oils help your engine start effortlessly in any weather, because when your truck starts, your journey starts. Shell Rimula, the engine oil that works as hard as you. Drive forward. Reach your real destination with Shell Rimula.
Polytech is everywhere, durable and authentic. Stronger brand you can trust. Polytech, we get some more Rambo and get some more Super. And the Polytech, we did Papa no no, 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 Ankasa. Polytech, the original, always the best.
Join the conversation on the City Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag CityCBS.
The Money Matters segment is brought to you by Petra. Petra, achieve more.
Welcome to the Money Matters segment with Petra. Reacting emotionally to a market dip is like abandoning your car because of one flat tire. It's a fixable challenge, not the end of the journey. The same goes for investments. At Petra, we've weathered financial storms in Ghana. When things get shaky, we stay calm and make strategic decisions so you can stay confident. Trust us to keep you moving forward. Dial *447*70# to speak to a financial advisor today. Petra, achieve more.
The Money Matters segment was brought to you by Petra. Petra, achieve more.
This is the City Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Are you ready to lead like never before?
Ready to master the art of strategy and inspire teams that thrive?
It's the Management Bootcamp 2025.
An exclusive high-impact training for mid to senior pros.
Learn from Ghana's finest industry minds, brought to you by Channel 1 TV and 97.3 Citi FM.
From the trusted voices of excellence, Citi FM and Channel 1 TV comes an elite training experience designed to sharpen your strategy, leadership, and communication.
Make a date for the Management Bootcamp 2025 from Sunday the 22nd of June to Saturday the 28th of June 2025. The venue is the Platinum Bay and Passion Base Hotels.
Call 0242-011-424 to register now.
The Management Bootcamp 2025. Lead forward. The Management Bootcamp 2025 is powered by Channel 1 TV with support from 97.3 Citi FM.
Hello, Mr. Headmaster.
Please sit. I want to discuss your child, Sarah. She is always asking questions. Questions after questions. It never stops.
Sorry, we will...
Oh, no, don't be sorry. We love her curiosity. Our world needs more curious minds. So, well done.
Oh, thank you. Confident, curious kids will change our world. Nido is specially formulated with iron, vitamin C, and A. Nido, your love, their future. This advert is FDA approved.
Hey there, all enterprise customers. We are rewarding all of you just for standing by us all this while. Simply keep doing the things you've always done with us, like renewing policies, making purchases, and more. The twist, though, you have to do them on our self-service portal via web or the Enterprise Advantage app. Once you log into the portal, access Advantage Points and do any of the transactions you're allowed to do there in order to earn points. The more you transact, the more points you earn. The points you earn can be used to redeem loads of airtime, Momo, and other rewards. It's that simple. Just visit the portal, log in, and enjoy. Visit my.enterprisegroup.net.gh or download the Enterprise Advantage app to get started. Enterprise Advantage Points, because nothing you do should be pointless.
Enterprise, your advantage.
Looking for the latest buzz in Ghana's entertainment world? Welcome to Ghana Weekend, your ultimate destination for all things creativity and entertainment.
Stay in the loop with breaking news, exclusive interviews, and then insider stories from your favorite creatives and stars. From music, movies, fashion and art, lifestyle and culture, Ghana Weekend brings it all together. Get a daily dose of entertainment, discover new talent, and never miss out on the creativity that defines our vibrant culture.
Stay connected with us across all platforms. Follow us on Instagram with the handle Ghana Weekend, on X Ghana Weekend, on TikTok Ghana Weekend, at Ghana Weekend TV on YouTube for the latest in entertainment, travel, and everything Ghana. Don't miss out. Join the Ghana Weekend family today. Ghana Weekend, where entertainment meets creativity. Visit GhanaWeekend.com now.
This is the City Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation. The City Breakfast Show. Rise above the noise.
$737, chant a psalm a day. Yeah, man. Yeah, you heard something else. You always hear something else. Happy blessed birthday to you, Jacqueline Cobbin of Stanbic Bank Enterprise Direct Department. May your birthday bring you new beginnings and lots of blessings from Stanbic's ED team. Couple more birthday requests coming through. Happy birthday to Edwina Amofabefi, Chief Finance Officer of the Meta Holdings Ghana Limited. Wishing you God's endless blessings and laughter with love from Abigail and your family. Happy birthday to Mr. Osewusu Ajiman, Project Coordinator FSRP West Africa Food Program Resilience Program. May everything you touch continue to flourish from management and staff of the team. Wish my wife, Maucho Afisiade, happy birthday. May God's presence continue to guide her. Love from Selassie and the kids Selato, Selali, and Eline to Mauto Afisiade. Happy birthday to Gilbert Adoirenchi, Associate Director, Tax and Regulatory, Deloitte, and to Paula Owusu of the Tax and Regulatory Department, and Elom Abledu of the Financial Advisory Department. All these from your country managing partner, Daniel Kojo Owusu, and all staff of Deloitte. Happy birthday to my good friend, famous Kwesi Atichogbui.
Exactly.
Formerly of Metro TV, now at GIPC.
Yeah, man.
Famous, happy birthday to you.
Yes, fame. Charlie, true brother. How are you doing? Yeah, Charlie, you are holding it down with your documentaries and related.
I tell you.
Big man, rough.
We also want to celebrate the Venerable Reverend Adewale Adeoye Famosa, MD and CEO of Primus Advertising Ghana. A real brother.
Primus, Papa.
Wale has one of the famous handshakes you can ever get. And the firmness of his handshake also shows you the faithfulness of his commitment. A man you can trust in dark moments. A friend for over 20 years to the company Citi FM. With his very important company. Primus Advertising. So Chief Wale, on behalf of the team, Samens, Omane, Vivian, Sky, and all of us, we say happy birthday to you, Chief Wale, for your consistency. You're a big man.
Yes. Now let me say that he's a man of timber and caliber.
I tell you.
Yes.
A man of character.
Yes.
Please wish my husband Gilbert Irenchiado a happy birthday. Message is happy birthday, darling. You're an amazing father and a good husband. May the Lord continue to bless you and may the lines fall to you in pleasant places, sir. So many things happening in the country. Chema Wontumi released after a week in different levels of detention. OSP redeclares Kanufriata wanted. And that's another round of press briefings. He did one yesterday. The lawyer for the former finance minister also responded. But today is also the 10th anniversary of one of Ghana's most ignominious days. June 3. Everybody remembers where they were that day. Official numbers, about 157 people died, but we're very sure more people have been, people are unaccounted for. And the question is, have we learned any lessons from the June 3 disaster? This morning alone, somebody's just sent me a video note of building and the way, there are many things that led to that, okay? You can say it was a mix of human behavior and natural force. So you don't want to necessarily say it was only human behavior that caused it. But clearly there are things we do that make things worse, and there are things we do that can make things less deadly. So reflect on that. We have a very important documentary will be airing at 7 p.m. today on Channel 1 television. The documentary maker will be joining us this morning to talk about the components of that documentary. But let me take 3 announcements or 4 from Caleb Kuda.
Yes.
Before I then start with a quick interview on the latest with the Kanufriata matter.
Yeah.
Then I will turn my attention to June 3. Don't forget, today is day 2 of the Citi Business Festival, and we're continuing our financial education series. And today we're talking about financial planning, basics of financial planning. Caleb, talk to me.
So Ashesi University has been expanding access to its very prestigious school over the years, whether it's undergraduate program or master's program. Now they've introduced a 2 intake admission system for undergraduate applicants, so students can start their studies in either a September cohort or a January one. It's all part of a goal to welcome more bright minds into the Ashesi community. Remember, applications for both intakes are currently ongoing, so learn more at ashesi.edu.gh. That's the message from Ashesi University to all. And transform your living room and bedroom into a sanctuary with our stunning selections of sofas, couches, dressers, dining sets, everything that's got to do with interior. Ashfoam has got you, and the best part is if you shop now, you save up to 30% discount and discover the perfect blend of style, comfort, and all that has got to do do with exclusive furniture promotions. So don't miss out on this limited time offer, 30% discount. Don't forget, call 0243 200 729. Visit any of their showrooms in the big malls, depots, Medina, Taxi Rank, Agbogba, Vineyard, Tama Casino, and all Ashform shops across the country. There is free delivery. Terms and conditions apply. Be an Ashformer now. Ashform, feel it, know it.
And if you're looking for faster, smarter, and more secure way to manage your finances, look no further. With the award-winning Fab mobile and internet banking solutions, banking is now much easier and faster and more convenient. Join the Purple experience and feel the Purple experience with the convenience where convenience meets innovation. It's easy, it's safe and secure. First Atlantic Bank, 2-time Digital Bank of the Year in a row. First Atlantic Bank, refreshingly different. So this is Steel Pulse.
Yeah, man.
Steel Pulse.
No,
I have a pulse of steel.
I love it.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, I'm not the only one who was hearing something else with the chant.
The first one. It's chant a psalm a day.
So
this is rally around the red, gold, black, and green.
Yes,
Don't forget
sir.
that this is the flag of Ethiopia. It became the flag of Ghana.
Yep.
And a lot of West African countries in particular chose those three colors for their flags. So this is education on our flag. And in a very interesting twist in Galamsey, the red, gold, green mix up, right? Because of money, because of the gold, people destroy the green and they spill the red. They spill blood to get gold at the expense of the green. Now that's really tragic. If you're looking for a fast track way to track your investments process, take advantage of GIPC's 24-hour premium service designed to speed up the whole thing. So once you submit all required documents and pay, your registration certificate renewal and quote application can be processed in just 24 hours. No more long waits, just premium service designed with your business in mind. Call 0200 112 204. Kindly note that terms and conditions apply. That's from GIPC. Oh yes. Oh my Lord. There's another song I used to watch on GBC. In those days, there's only one music video in reggae they used to show. Iron like a lion in Zion.
So, that's one of my favorite Bob Marley songs.
You know, GBC had a lot of music videos, but the only Bob Marley one they had was that
Iron
one.
like a
Iron Lion Zion, you know. Do you know Iron Lion Zion?
I'm told.
Okay. It's a powerful song. Caleb, you deserve a brand new car.
Yes,
Volkswagen
sir.
is offering
Speak
the
to
Virtuous
me.
Highline, the T1 Life, and the Amarok at used car prices. Walk into any Volkswagen retail outlet with your used car budget and drive out a brand new car. Call or WhatsApp 025 795 6688 for more information about our range of models: Virtuous, T-Cross, T1, Allspace, Terramont, and the Amarok pickup. Volkswagen, rise and thrive.
We're bringing you easy banking with Zenith Bank this season. Enjoy 24-hour access to Zenith Bank's secure digital banking channels from the comfort of your home, your office, wherever you are. Make quick, easy payments with your Zenith MasterCard, Visa card, or EasyPay GH Dual card, or simply use the Z Mobile Ghana app, Zenith Internet Banking, or dial star 966 hash to manage your account. Charlie, no stress, no long queues, just smooth, secure, and instant banking. Call at 054 2000 111 www.zenithbank.com.gh. Zenith Bank, in your best interest.
So you know something very interesting. You know, as you do your soccer analysis on TV, I was listening to you, I think, was it the Black Stars or some game? I think to myself, in 30 years' time, some kid will also say, we used to listen to Susu Graham do analysis. Because, you know, I'm coming to interview somebody soon, Kwame Japong, and he is a politician now. When I was very young, I used to listen to him as a commentator. You know,
Really?
I used to be a football commentator on Black Stars matches. So times change so fast, you know. So yeah, that's just how it is. So you do the commentary, or one day somebody will be on the I used to listen to this man when he was doing analysis on Citi FM with Benjamin Nketia and Coach Christopher Nimble. Yeah. So, yeah, we'll be talking to him shortly. We'll be speaking to him about a number of things. Of course, the biggest one being the Kenofriata issue and a few other matters that have come up. But at Enterprise, our vision is clear. In all our markets, our pedigree will be recognized, our strength respected, and our expertise valued. And this is more important, our solutions sought by all who desire an advantage in life.
I love it.
Let me go through that again. At Enterprise, our vision is clear. Our pedigree will be recognized. Our strength respected. Our expertise valued. And our solutions sought by all who desire an advantage. That vision came to life once again at the 9th Ghana CEO Excellence Awards, where Enterprise Group made history. Our Group CEO, Daniel Labitieku, was honored as Best Group CEO Insurance. And he didn't stop there. Jacqueline Benny of Enterprise Life, Akosua Ansantri of Enterprise Insurance, Joseph Ampofu of Enterprise Trustees were each named CEO of the Year in their respective sectors. And we are grateful to God and also grateful to our customers for making this happen. All right, let's talk to a leading figure of the New Patriotic Party on a number of important developments that have happened in the past few days. Okay, so the special prosecutor has held a press conference, at which press conference he declared Mr. Kenofriata wanted, and he said he was going to place Mr. Oforiatta, the former finance minister, on the Interpol red list. This follows Mr. Oforiatta's failure to turn up in town. According to the special prosecutor, the agreement with Mr. Oforiatta was that he would come to Ghana by end of May, and that if by 2nd June he had not returned, he would be declared wanted. There have been other matters. For example, the MPP Asante Regional Chairman Wontumi has been released after 7 days in detention. That's also set some different discussions going around. And of course, there are other issues. So let me just pick the thoughts of Mr. Japon briefly on these matters as we progress with the show. Mr. Kwame Japon, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Bernard.
Great. So let me start with the special prosecutor. Yesterday, he held a press conference. I'm sure you heard him say that the Minister of Finance, former Minister of Finance, is wanted. And he gave his list of reasons. I haven't heard you speak on this particular matter in a while. So just your quick thoughts. What are your thoughts on the latest installment of this saga?
Well, I'm a bit disturbed by the direction that we are traveling as a country. In our fight, whether it's against corruption or even how governance should be appreciated and should be carried out as a country. I'm a patriot of our beloved motherland, Ghana. And anybody who has misconducted themselves, whether it's in government, during their time in government or in private life, I think the person should face the full consequences of their own actions, but in a lawful way. And there has been a trend that has been building up, which is unfortunate in my view. Very high-handed, Rambo-style invasions of people's privacy, people's homes, being systematically carried out in the name of ongoing investigations. It's something that we have to speak up against. It is not correct. It does not mean that anybody should be a stumbling block in the way of the delivery of justice. That is not to say so. But I think as a people, over 30 years of democracy, we should learn from our mistakes of the past and not constantly repeat them. Because what is happening is becoming a dangerous cycle of retribution and vengeance. And it's difficult for people to distinguish between what is the proper course of investigation or political execution. It gets muddied. I mean, the government has control of all the state intelligence agencies. So if you are building a case against someone, it should be easy. With all these plethora of institutions and agencies available to the president and the government and the attorney general to take the right decisions. So if really this special prosecutor, I mean, frankly, personally, I think that office should never have been set up in the first place, because it's a complete waste of the country's resources. But anyway, that haven't happened. And he wants to prosecute someone. You are the prosecutor. If you are a prosecutor, you build your case. When you build your case and you believe in that case, the gravity of the offenses that have been committed, you start proceeding to court. You are not a judge yourself to be able to declare someone a fugitive just because you cannot have access to the person. Because in any case, our own laws allows us to be silent even when he's in front of you. So at the end of the day, if you are building a case, I don't think there's a compelling reason why any suspect should be in front of you, if you have a case. Yes, the police, they can invite you. And I've heard lawyers talk about the fact that you are assisting in investigations. But why should somebody provide a platform for you to build on in a possible legal battle that is likely to happen? So I find this whole thing is like a trial in the media. I'm trying to create the impression that people are criminals before they are sent to court. And that cannot be right. It's happening to someone today. It can happen to any of us. I believe in advocating for propriety, things being done right. First and foremost, we haven't had the special prosecutor outline any charges that he has preferred against the former finance minister. We don't know yet. We've heard rumors of many things, and he hasn't filed charges.
He describes him as a person of interest that he needs to assist in investigations.
But can you force someone to assist you? I can't believe it. Does he understand the word assist? And especially if during my assistance, my evidence or my answers can be used against me. The law allows you to plead silence. So, and of course, there have been cases where people have been tried in absentia. He himself, the special prosecutor, when he felt his life was being threatened, decided to operate from outside the country. So he knows he's got the capacity and the capability to be able to reach out to Ken Offuata wherever he is. I'm not here holding brief for Ken. No, that's not what I'm doing. I think that what is happening is dangerous for our country, because then it is possible for any one of us to be declared guilty and embarrassed publicly even before you take your stand in court to defend yourself. What happened to the basic law which says that you are innocent till proven guilty? The way he's going about it, he's treating him as if, he's a common thief. That has not been proven beyond reasonable doubt. We shouldn't encourage such behavior because I think it is not right. He first should prefer charges. He should go to a court of law and start the prosecutions if he believes in what he has gathered is strong enough. And then when the court subpoenas the suspect and he does not appear, then he can apply for the court to grant him a warrant to bring him to court. At that point, you can then say that he's a fugitive from justice. But all of us reserve the right to be represented by lawyers. So what is going on here? I think that is something that civil society, all well-meaning Ghanaians have to stop. Like I said earlier, I do not believe that anyone should protect any Ghanaian, whether private or public official who was tinkered with the public treasury. I don't want to do that. But let's do things right. We cannot carry on as if there's a
So for you, the resort to press conferences and sort of calling him wanted is not within. That's not the approach you should use.
He should tell us whether that forms part of his mandate. He's a prosecutor. A prosecutor cannot pass judgment. So it is not within your power to say that somebody is a fugitive from justice. It is a judge who sits in a court that has accepted or, is listening to your pleadings that can take a decision that there has been no cooperation or there has been disrespect for subpoenas to appear in court. And these are laws, So I think that what is happening is unfortunate. It is wrong. I think that if he's built a strong enough case, he should proceed. Okay. And if Ken doesn't come, then the court can declare him wanted. And there are various ways. I've spoken to some lawyers. He can be interviewed these days because of digital presence. He can be on Zoom. There are various channels of communication to reach out to the person to stand trial. You understand? Especially if he's unwell. If he's deliberately refusing to present himself, that's a completely different matter. But whatever the case, you are a prosecutor.
All right, fair enough.
You are a prosecutor. You are not a judge.
So, at the risk of comparing oranges with apples, I want to bring you into another matter. So, on the one to me issue, so it's quite interesting. On the Ken issue, the special prosecutor has been speaking, and some people feel that he's putting the matter out too much. But on the one to me matter, from his meeting with the CID to his arrest by Yoko and then his detention and release, the minority in parliament essentially picketed at the Yoko, asking for more information and asking for his release. If you listen to the MPs who went, they said, look, you can't hold a man and not tell us what he's done. So in terms of the approach of those security agencies, the CID originally questioning him, and then Yoko arrested him subsequently before the deputy AG then wrote on social media what Mr. Wontumi was being investigated for. So that seems a different approach. My question to you is that the right approach? That's question one. And question two, the approach of MPP members going there to demand this release, blocking the road and saying they are not happy, is that also correct? Should that be how they go about their expressing their grievance?
Look, Bernard, let's all be fair and do things right. If the CID, in my view, did the right thing, they professionally invited him and he submitted himself. I don't know what transpired, and then they let him off on bail. What was the point in crossing him in traffic and picking up the way they did, the IOCO did? IOCO is supposed to be an intelligence gathering organization that's looking at economic crime. So basically, even IOCO's mandate has to do with economic crime. They haven't told us, apart from the Deputy Attorney General taking to his personal handle. That is not an official handle. That, again, is wrong. I think it is very wrong for state officials to be promoting their social media presence, their personal social media presence, using official issues. That is completely unethical and should go against the code of conduct that the president has put in place. If the Attorney General's office has a social media handle and officially the Attorney General's office puts out information, that one we can accept, as that's the current position of the Ministry of Justice. But not on your personal social media handle. That is incorrect, it's unethical, it is wrong. And so, if indeed, for right now, we don't even know. There are all sorts of rumors bandying about. I'm not going to repeat some of the reasons. It has to be official. Even when you go to court for a warrant for arrest, the judge will ask you the reason why the person is being arrested. And the judge will take a decision based on reasonableness, that he thinks that, yes, this person has to be brought in for questioning. So it is the same thing. It is so wrong what has happened, and it compels others to also do things that they choose to be their right.
Okay.
You understand?
When we spoke to his lawyer yesterday, just to give information, one of his lawyers, Ifuakwa, said he was cautioned for causing financial loss to the state. That was the official sort of basis for his interrogation by the IOCO. This is one of his lawyers telling us yesterday.
That even causes more confusion, because if you look at that law, it deals more with public officers. I don't know which particular crime they said that he was causing financial loss. Because if you are not a public officer, then it must have been some public officers in their dealings with you that has caused financial loss. When we had the Cotton case, which was causing financial loss to the state, it is the public officers who were involved who the state went after, not the woman Juliet Cotton, although she was the beneficiary of those funds. So, first and foremost, yes, Wontumi may have been a beneficiary of some funds, but who released those funds to him? And on what conditions were those funds released to him? Let's be careful how we do things in this country. That is why people are beginning to think that it is either a way to show him where power lies, to keep him over the weekend, 7 days and all that, just to show him that when you are in government, you have power. We accept that. Governments have power. And governments have been put into office to exercise the authority of the state. And all of us submit to the state and we respect the authority of the state. But the state should not misuse its power. If they have a solid piece of evidence in the case, and as they are speaking, I don't know whether I've heard something about cars and all. This is crazy. We should be clear what it is he has done.
Okay, that's fair.
If you are clear enough, you go to court. The first point of call is to go to
Fair
court.
enough. There's also a view that MPP leaders are falling over themselves in support of Won to me, without necessarily averting their minds to all the facts. And of course, some have been accused of using the Won to me detention to sort of champion their own ambitions, because Dr. Bamia has been there, Duchum has been there, Kennedy Japon has been there, Brian Champon was in the middle of it. I think the only significant person in that group who was not there maybe was you. I don't know if you also went there. But the criticism is that MPP leaders are cashing. No, let me finish the question. Are sort of cashing in on the man's misfortune to promote their own agendas. There's even an article written to this effect.
Well, I think we should not create a charade in this country. I mean, whether it is the government or it is us, the opposition, we should be fighting for what is right. I believe in propriety, okay? And there are times that you can show solidarity. I've done it before in the past, but, it wasn't out to solicit any public support for anything I intend doing. What is important is that the government is the one in power. They should exercise their authority properly, legitimately, in order not to elicit any reaction, that comes from other quarters. I'm not going to comment on whether people went there to take advantage of the situation. That's not for me to comment. I think, Bernard, all of you, the media, let's insist on propriety. Let's insist on things being done right in this country. We are making far too many mistakes, and we keep repeating these mistakes. It's become an unending cycle of vengeance, of retribution, of paying people back. That is not how countries are developed. When somebody is wrong, let's tell them where they've gone wrong, and if you have to exact punitive measures, let that be so. But please, this playing to the gallery, it's embarrassing to the government, in my view. I think it's embarrassing to the president. And if he's sitting down looking at all this and not intervening and not taking action and not asking his officials why they are going about things in such a muddying situation, I think it's wrong. The government is in power for what, 6 months? And we're having all these infractions on. No, this cannot be accepted.
All right.
He's been vice president before, president before, and come back again, has no excuse. Even if previous governments have made similar mistakes, by now he should have learned from those experiences so that we can build a better country as we are going forward. We can't keep repeating these same things, and people keep threatening that when those people come back, this won't happen. That is not the country we need to build. We need to progress as a people.
Thank you very much, Kwabena Japon. Thank you for your insight and your time. Thank you so much. Speaking to you on short notice, Kwabena Japon, a leading member of the MPP, reacting to a number of running stories, including the declaration of Kwabena Japon as the declaration of Ken Oforiatta, forgive me, as a fugitive of justice or fugitive from justice, and also the release of Chairman Wontumi with all the shenanigans surrounding it. Let's jump straight into tech and social media trends.
It's brought to us by Telecel and First Bank Ghana. First Bank is embarking on a journey to reconnect with customers who haven't used their accounts for a while. They would love the opportunity to provide you with the gold standard of banking once again. So reactivate your dormant account at First Bank. Kindly visit our website or any of our socials, Facebook, X, Instagram, LinkedIn, wherever. Click the link provided in the bio page, and you're good to go. You can also pay us a visit at any of our branches nationwide. We'll be more than happy to receive you. The number to call is 0596 921 921. First Solutions at firstbankgroup.com. First Bank, you first.
So what's trending this morning? I'm sure some of my interviews.
Oh yeah. I'll get to them, but I'll start with some fake news, of course. You know,
All right.
Citi Verify is very important, breaking down some of these things. So yesterday there was a letter circulating about Mr. Malik Basintali claiming that I'll just find the letter.
The University of Ghana said they didn't have
no,
any
yeah,
record of
exactly.
his
So
degree.
the letter was addressed to the Civil Service Council, I believe, and it was claimed to be from the registrar of the University of Ghana, claiming that Mr. Basintali was not a graduate of the university, or let me say that the certificates he provided were fake.
Yeah.
This was the allegation. So the University of Ghana quickly came out and said that this letter was fake, it's not true, and it's been debunked. So,
Charlie, why are people like this?
So yeah, I mean, right now there's a spree of we are checking people's credentials. So people are also adding it to be mischievous. So we just want to put that out there, that if you heard something about Mr. Basintali not having a certificate, the University of Ghana has come out to say they have said no such thing. So very important to get through. So like you said,
so if we've confirmed that it's fake.
The letter is fake.
Okay.
That the letter saying he does not have a certificate is
fake.
fake.
What is funny? Fake news travels faster than real news.
Exactly.
Because the number of people who sent it to me to say, bro, is this true? I mean,
Yeah. So when I saw it, I was waiting to see whether I would see something, and eventually the University of Ghana came and issued a.
But how are they able to fake the registrar signature and all those things?
But you see, maybe the register. The thing is, the woman sends letters. You see,
so they can copy.
So it's very easy that you can kind of, even if you use photo, you can kind of lift it. There's also
wickedness abounds in this country, pal. How do you? And you see, the thing is that a lot of people may not even hear that it's fake. Because the distance the fake one travels is more than the distance
and the truth is, might not even be her signature. A lot of us don't know what her signature is. So if they put her name there and put some signature, a lot of us will just say, oh, okay.
Yeah, and in fact, if you look at the letter that's disclaiming the initial one, it doesn't have the signature of the registrar.
It's just from the public service, public communication something. Yeah.
Let's be careful in Ghana. So it's fake.
Yes. Just putting that out there. So
because at Radio University, we were interviewing Malik Basintali at the time. He was a student leader.
They said that he was doing too much politics, so
he couldn't graduate.
His grades didn't. That's what they were saying.
So I think the people responsible, somehow we have to find it, right, and hold them accountable. But the other angle is there really any basis in the claim that he did not finish?
I think because of the issues around
the fake doctor,
so the fake doctor thing. So I think somebody is trying
to
draw him in.
Because you're also hearing something about Mr. Tanko computer. They're saying that his
fake. So guys, I think the context is that there are claims being made that some people in position do not qualify. So somebody was trying to create mischief by saying that Malik had not graduated.
But the letter, the letter, the authentic one from the university, what does it say about it?
It says that the letter circulating is fake. They didn't release any information
because
about
there's no issue at hand. The university has anything about his degree.
Okay, but they did not discuss anything about his degree.
They don't want to be drawn into the.
So they just said
because once the fake news thing has come out, and then you start responding to it, in a sense, somebody has said Richard Sky is not a man. Then go and write the OTs that Richard Sky is a man. Like, what are you saying? Like, it's not in doubt. So let's move on.
Basically, what they are saying
I think it would have been useful
for them to probably then say this is his graduation.
Exactly. I mean,
I don't even. I agree with Sky to a certain extent that once they've come to say that this person has a degree, you come to say that okay, his degree. This letter is not written by us. We have
for the avoidance of doubt.
Okay.
They graduated. No, that's what they could have done, but they chose to say it is fake. So everything in that letter is fake. Let's move on.
Yeah, that's what they.
That's where
they said the letter is a forgery, and neither the registrar nor any other officer of the university has received, processed, or responded to such requests.
And like you said, your last interview was all over the trends. So Kenuforiata redeclared wanted all over the trends, and of course Chema to me being released and going to meet the MPB executives at Alisa Hotel. So that was in the news. So there's another one which is quite disturbing, but I'll have to talk about it. And the word CCTV was in the trends. This was very interesting because a woman is suing the Peace and Love Hospital located in Barcelona because she claims that CCTV cameras were installed in the examination rooms where private exams were done, and that violates her privacy and her human rights. So this is a issue that has come up and was trending because we're talking about it, about the kind of crimes that happen against, and I guess it's a new type of sexual crime because, you know, cameras and that kind of stuff. So it's a very disturbing incident, and she's
Is this in Ghana?
Yes, yes.
Just to draw a quick distinction. So this is a civil action which is seeking to enforce the ladies' rights under the Constitution.
Privacy.
Yeah, that's right. So she's alleging breach of her Article 18 and 15 rights, and also the patient charter. And on the basis of that, inviting the courts to make specific declarations
Against the hospital or the institution that put the CCTV.
Yes,
okay.
yes. So, but the question is whether, as of the time of going into the hospital, she was aware that there was a camera there.
We'll see.
To
so it's a matter of public interest.
It's a very good lawsuit.
Send your journalist to go and cover the proceedings so we can learn from it. So
and the last one is Brian Mbeumo. So we're here in Manchester United are making a £50 million bid for the...
He says his name is Mbeumo.
Mbeumo.
You know, there's this video of footballers mentioning
pronouncing their names.
So Bruno Fernandes.
Bruno Fernandes.
So this is Brian Mbeumo.
Thank you for that one. Brian Mbeumo.
Why is he joining a sinking ship?
Oh, but
please.
You know what?
Such a great talent.
But you know how it is. You know there are some teams like you grow up watching them. So when they say come and play for
the
us,
man you grew up watching is not the man you have today.
That one is true, but you forget where they are on the table, and you remember the days of Sir Alex, Paul Scholes, Ryan Giggs, David Beckham.
So Brian Mbeumo, he says he wants to go to United.
Yes. He says that he wants United. He wants only United.
For me, the real deal is actually Johan Wissa. He's the guy I like.
But I doubt Brentford will sell both. So
they've bought Liverpool's goalkeeper though.
Yes.
So Mbeumo is trending. But why is Matthias Cunha not trending?
Oh, he's trended already.
He's gone to United.
Yeah, he's trended already.
He's good actually.
Yeah, I believe because Monday there was a lot going on. That's why we didn't get into Matthias Cunha. But yes.
All right.
So, and the last one, a bit of tech news. So, Elon Musk's Neuralink. So it's a company that he's building that's kind of, it's supposed to implant a chip in your brain which allow you to interface with computers and that kind of. You haven't heard of Neuralink? You haven't heard of Neuralink?
Charlie, we don't like those things though.
But their company. They
are doing chip in what?
Yeah, so it's kind of like a chip that will be implanted in your brain and will help you interface with machines.
This is science fiction movies coming to life.
So augmented intelligence.
Yes.
No, so you augmented intelligence. Master, I don't like it. I don't want any augmented anything.
2.0.
I don't. I'm even too much.
But it's not even that.
I'm already too much.
It's like the chip will mean that when you are using your laptop, you don't have to even type. Your laptop will just start.
Some of these things. Okay, let him try it on himself. And
that's what they.
Oh no, they are.
So that's where I'm getting.
When they don't.
So
you know, there are times you forget something.
So, but you see, Bernard, let me finish. So Bernard, let me finish. So they have raised $650 million in their latest funding round. They are about to start clinical trials. So they are come to test it. They are come to test it well. So we'll see how it works. So clinical trials
some
are starting.
Some of the people who are concerned about AI say a day is coming, they will take over the world. Well, when they can't be controlled, they become so intelligent. Sky, let's be careful.
But Bernard, I'm with you. But Bernard, I'm with you.
Every day.
Bernard, I'm with you on the chip. I'm with you on the chip.
Put the chip in a human brain for what?
Yeah, I'm with you because I'm a big fan of Star Wars. And if you watch Star Wars, there was some chip inside the people and they used it to win the war. They used it to turn on their own people. I don't like.
Sky,
there are chips today that are helping people who are blind to see.
We like that.
That one is fine.
That one you like.
We like that one.
But you don't want the one that elevates the human intelligence.
It's human intelligence that created that chip that is helping the blind. It's okay. We don't want to elevate it anyway. Just learn and be diligent in your job. We don't need any chip to do anything. Master, hurry up and finish.
Yeah, so that's the end. We finish.
Nice. Augmented intelligence.
Since 1894, we've witnessed the evolution of a brand and proudly partnered with its people on the path to prosperity. From the ink-stained ledgers of the past to the lightning-fast transactions of today, First Bank has consistently adapted, embracing innovation while cherishing the legacy of our heritage and making giant strides across the globe. It's not just about banking, it's about enabling your success generation after generation. Our legacy defined the past, shaped the present, And in 2094, we will still be fostering financial security and stability for future generations. We are helping to create a future where the possibilities are infinite, the opportunities borderless, and where the world looks up to Africa. Let's awaken the giant in you. You first. First Bank.
Auntie T, I beg, fix me go betete Ghana. No curry, no oil, no plantain, just beans then eggs.
Hey, bruh, that be dangerous combination, no?
Problem no day. I feel handle am.
For Telecel, with the Bob say everybody gets what they like. That be why Made For Me bundles day. Based on your usage, you fit get your own data and call packages. Fala! Made For Me bundles like the way you the want town. That *530#, then buy Made For Me bundles today.
Telecel, connecting energies.
Join the conversation on the City Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag CityCBS.
Did you know that worms take away nutrients from the food you eat? Just listen to them.
Brothers, yesterday the food nice, huh?
Oh yeah, the trouble woman there, she did try wa.
Charlie, something come on. Eat the food.
It did taste like banana.
Eh, make a taste some. Make me try a taste, make a taste. Hey, something is doing me.
Something is doing me too.
Oh, it be Vamos.
Vermox banana flavored dewormer is available in both suspension and tablet and is suitable for children and adults. It's good for you, bad for worms. Not recommended for children under 2 years and pregnant women. This advert is FDA approved.
Hello, I am Teacher Jane. Are you Eric's mom?
Yes.
Well, today in class, he kept challenging me about a certain point for more than 5 minutes.
Oh no, I'm so sorry.
Don't be sorry, Mommy. I love his confidence. Our world needs more people who can speak up. So well done.
Oh, thank you. Confident, curious kids will change our world. Nido, especially formulated with iron, vitamin C, and A. Nido, your love, their future.
This advert is FDA approved.
This June, the business wave is back and it's bigger than ever. The City Business Festival 2025 on Citi FM and Channel 1 TV, where it's all about business. This June, we will be celebrating Ghanaian businesses, re-examining our business modules and practices through our business fora, and sharing knowledge through our on-air business discussions. Make a business date with the on-air series every weekday at 9 a.m. on the City Breakfast Show on 97.3 Citi FM and 10 a.m. on Breakfast Daily on Channel 1 TV. From expert interviews to real-world insights to the tools you need to grow. Don't miss a single moment this June. It's the City Business Festival 2025, celebrating everything business. Only on Citi FM and Channel 1 TV. Your business, your future, your time is now. Stay tuned, stay inspired, and let's grow together. The City Business Festival 2025, celebrating everything business.
The City Business Festival 2025 is powered by 97.3 Citi FM and Channel 1 TV, and it's proudly sponsored by Absa Bank, MTN Business, and Zonda Tech Ghana Limited.
At Phoenix Insurance, we make the unpredictable predictable and the uncertain certain with our range of products, including motor insurance, fire insurance, engineering insurance, marine insurance, accident insurances, and all types of bonds. We have you covered. We also support you with risk management advice to enable you stay focused on your business. Take a policy with Phoenix Insurance today. We help you rise from adversity stronger and more secure. Contact us on 0302-246319 or 0302-246644. Phoenix Insurance, a delightful service experience delivered with wisdom.
This is the City Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation. The City Breakfast Show. Rise above the noise.
Mixmaster Gazi. Oh, na
23, welcome to Seamless Banking with the Prudential Bank mobile app. Perform instant transactions, link mobile money wallet, scan QR code to pay, manage your cards, transfer money between banks, and do so much more. No more banking hours. Experience simple, secure, and convenient banking wherever you are 24/7. Download the BPL mobile app now from Apple App Store, the App Store, Google Play Store, and Huawei App Gallery. Visit the Prudential Bank website or social media platforms for more. Prudential Bank, truly dependable. We'll be getting into that big conversation, reminiscing, recollecting that big day that brought untold hardship and claimed lives. We'll take you back. But good morning, Ghana. As you get ready for the day, here's a quick question. How much has ECG taken from your wallet since January? Thousands of cities, right? Alright, so let's not talk about the Doomso Wahala at all. Just get Translight Solar today and save up to 70% of your ECG bills. Enjoy clean and reliable energy without breaking the bank. Best part is you don't need to pay full cost upfront. Translight Solar is offering you an opportunity to own a complete solar system by paying just 30 to 50% of the cost. You spread the rest over 12 to 36 months period with flexible monthly payments as low as 1,200 Ghana cedis. There are early bird deals, so please get in touch. The website is www.translightsolar.com. 050-424-9229 is the number to call for free consultation. Translight Solar, wherever there is Translight sunlight, there is Translight. And this June, from the 11th to 13th, Ghana welcomes leaders from across the continent for the Africa Impact Summit 2025. It's hosted by Impact Investing Ghana and Nigeria's Impact Investors Foundation, alongside the GSG Impact National Partners and Task Force. This is the biggest platform for deal making on the continent, policy conversations, and sustainable development strategies. So whether you're a policymaker, impact or angel investor, entrepreneur or change maker, this is where Africa's future is being built. It's happening from June 11 to 13. To register, please check out africaimpactsummit.org/. For more information, call Josephine 055-144-9186. So much more is happening this June. Something amazing is coming up in Accra. If you're a farmer in particular with fresh produce, if you're into fish farming, poultry or livestock, you don't want to miss out on the Agri Fair 2025 happening at the Efua Sutherland Children's Park from Friday the 20th to Sunday 22nd of June. It's the ultimate weekend marketplace for fresh fruits, vegetables to poultry, livestock, fish, aquaculture products, agro inputs and even processing machinery, all at unbeatable farm gate prices. Whether you're selling or buying, you don't want to miss this opportunity. If you're a farmer, a processor or a supplier looking to connect with thousands, here's your platform. Call this number 0205-973-973. Powered by Channel 1 TV with support from 97.3 Citi FM. The Agri Fair is proudly sponsored by Ghana Exim Bank, Legacy Crop Improvement Center, Development Bank Ghana, and Agri Impact Limited. So Sky, on the 9th of June 2015, you were on air at the time reporting. I think you and OJ broke the news of the twin disaster, what has now been known as the twin disaster that claimed so many lives, destroyed properties, running into thousands of cities. Now, I want to take us all back to that very day, June 3, 2015, 10 years ago. And this was Richard Mensah breaking the news on 97.3 Citi FM.
At the first instance, when the fire started at the place, the fire service vehicle could not even go, and therefore they were devising a plan either to go through the other side. And the danger is that it was such an unfortunate situation. You know, the other side to go from would be from the Odor River area that is also flooded, and it's either you are also going through around the Quip area coming down, and that place is also cut out and it's flooded. As when I was about leaving there, NADMO officials, mostly made up of the military, have arrived and they are in their steer, which can go through the water. And then a while ago, one of the fire service vehicles, because the water has subsided, is now drizzling, was able to brave through. So they are going close to where the fire incident is. So far, I've seen 3 people, one severely burnt, and it's a very gory situation. Now, this is what they tell me. For some of them, they started smelling fuel, and so they became alarmed. Apparently, what happened was that somebody has set his own fire somewhere, just not close to the filling station, but far away from the filling station, and the fuel was also flowing on the water, so it just caught fire and then came close to the source, and then it started.
So that's Richard Mensah. Sky, he was engaging you on that particular day.
Yeah, so the thing happened after Eyewitness News. We had just finished Eyewitness News, and it was raining, and we decided that, okay, actually, we would have to stay back, because generally the advice is that when it's raining and you're in a safe space,
just stay,
don't move. And then there was this bang, big boom, and
explosion.
That's right, that you could see the sky lit up in really glowing flames or whatever it was, and then shouts here and there. So I returned to the studio immediately.
Oh, you heard the sound from here?
Yes. We are about 3 minutes walk or so, or 5 minutes walk from
the
where
scene.
actually the thing happened.
That's great.
So I quickly moved in, told the technicians that, look, there's a story that is breaking. I want to break it. So I went on air, broke the story, and then dispatched. So we spoke about it. So
OJ then went to the
not
scene.
OJ.
Richard Mensah.
We call him informally OJ. Forgive us. It's a wrong. So he went to the scene and filed a report from the scene of the disaster. So it was around the the intersection,
Farah Avenue.
Yeah, the intersection where Samsung used to be. I don't know whether they're still there. There's someone who sells Kili Willy close by. That intersection, he was close to that area. It's close to a church. I think it's an Anglican church or Apostolic, one of them. That's located not far away from the Kwame Nkrumah Circle. And then was seeing what was happening and filed the report from there.
Wow.
It was horrifying.
Wow.
Horrifying.
Bodies were retrieved from the floods and all.
Yeah, I wrote something 5 years later. Perhaps you want to read that, because 5 years on, it's still it's one of the things that I covered that still lives with me till today, because of what happened, on the night. The fact that we were just some 5 minutes away from the scene of the disaster. Imagine if it was, say, a bigger reservoir of oil that had been dislodged by flood waters and then set off by some, whatever it was, a smoke or whatever it may have been. And then we 5 minutes away from the scene.
Yeah.
Look, anything could have happened. Imagine if it was a big reservoir. So anytime I remember what happened that night, it is particularly troubling.
So you penned this down 5 years after, 5 years after, but I'm sure it's still relevant even a decade on. So it goes on to say that exactly 5 years ago today, there's 10 now, Richard Mensah and I broke the awful news of the indescribable flood and fire disaster that killed at least 150 Ghanaians. Forced by heavy rains, many of the victims were innocently seeking shelter within and outside a Goil fuel station next to the Kwame Nkrumah Circle, a monument named after Ghana's first leader, when death struck them. A Wednesday that started as just any other day in the usual organized chaos within Ghana's capital descended quickly into nightmares for many unfortunate families by the time Accra's evening darkened into a killer night that claimed the lives of even children. I have covered many traumatic tragedies as a frontline journalist for more than a decade. However, the grisly events of 3rd June 2025 still haunt me more than any other. 5 indelible memories are still with me. The heartbreaking screams of those burning and helplessly succumbing to the fury of the flames. 2. The mass hysteria of hard-labored but yet destitute petty traders who watched on hopelessly as both flames and flash floods consumed and snatched their wares respectively. 3. The inescapable graphic scenes and horrifying pictures of the dead on the morning after. 4. The grim stories, both told and untold, of victims who died long after the disaster. And 5. The unimaginable, life-changing realities that still define the restless survivors today. All these unfading memories tell one bitter truth. Ghana, in many ways, is a nation still incapable of upholding human dignity and justice for the many who are poor. The state and some private individuals indeed paid all or part of the medical bills that swamped the victims of that tragedy. However, we have still not held anyone or institution accountable for this horror that robbed loved ones from families, condemned once beautiful citizens to a lifetime of servitude in their own disfigured bodies, decimated small businesses, and wiped out a lifetime of savings for many. It's a screaming indictment on every pillar of our justice system and democracy. The reason is all too familiar. Our nation still fails the millions who are poor for the benefit of the conscienceless few who are powerful. This dubious honor must end. In keeping with our national motto, freedom and justice, it's not too late, I believe, to go back, trace our steps through the ruins of that day, find those liable, and rightly hold their individual and collective feet to the blazing fire and the sleepless furnace of justice. So that's your reflections in 2020. 5 years on, not so much has changed in terms of finding those who are culpable and making them answer for same, and then also maybe delivering justice for the victims of same. But let me take you back again to the day. This is a day after when President John Mahama visited the scene and gave you his very statements after the disaster. This is President John Mahama.
From the mountains, most of the streams that go through Accra take their source from the mountains. And so people building in waterways, littering the drains, make it difficult for the flood water that comes from the mountains to reach the sea. And so we've created a human intervention between the source of the rivers and the sea where they are headed. A lot of people have lost their lives. I'm at a loss of words to express how I feel. Many of them through the flood, and then very many of them through the fire incident that took place here as a result of the explosion that took place in the filling station located right here. Yesterday, the emergency services, including the military, the police, the fire service, were all called out to come and help. They managed to rescue quite a large number of people, but unfortunately, a large number of people lost their lives. I want to take the opportunity to commend the security services for their diligence. Throughout yesterday night, many of them have not had any sleep. We were closely monitoring what was happening. And then also to express my condolences to the several who have lost relatives and the victims of the flood. We'll have to take some measures to be able to avoid this happening in the future. And often when these measures are drastic, you have a lot of sympathy and pressure not to take those measures. But I think that the time has come, for us to remove houses out of waterways. And the public should understand that it is necessary to save everybody else. I mean, this loss of life is catastrophic, almost unprecedented. And so we'll leave the city authorities and the emergency services to continue to do their work. But we must sit and strategize to make sure that this doesn't happen again. We shouldn't continue to be like the vulture who says he would roof his house when the rain stops. Year in, year out, this continues to happen. And until we attack it scientifically and strategically, we'll continue to have these problems. My heart goes out to everybody who has lost a relative. And let me commend the security services once again and ask them to continue to assist the public. I think that it's going to be very difficult for business to be normal over the course of the day, and we will understand. If people are not able to come to work, we will understand what has happened. And maybe it might not be possible for many of the children to go to school. But we'll do the cleanup and bring life to normal as quickly as possible. From the weather warnings announced by the Ghana Meteorological Agency, we can expect more rains over an extended period of time, especially within the next 2 weeks. It requires proper emergency services planning to ensure that any challenges that occur are effectively tackled. Accordingly, the National Disaster Management Organization and the Ghana Armed Forces will be providing and setting up emergency shelter zones within the affected areas.
So the second voice you heard was the day after the president's address. He actually addressed the nation. So on the first voice you heard, he was at the scene where he talked about it being the time coming for us to remove property out of waterways, and we not being vultures who say, the vulture that says he will roof his house when the rain stops but never gets to do that. Clearly, you could tell the president was, he showed up, he shared the sentiments of the people like our politicians always do, and he was sad. Yeah, the photo ops happened, and then speeches were given, promises were made that structures in waterways will be cleared. It's been 10 years, right? But we will take it slowly. We'll build up this point very slowly. Let's bring you voices of the victims of the June 3 disaster. These were some of the people, in fact, they were survivors of that disaster because they could have lost their lives. Take a listen.
Now, me the koma, me master. Oh, we now so. Now, so much now. Ejani free a slow ba be a patrician one. Into say na to so ni. Asu to so no kra. Me pia shim and shim da kra.
Bacho ye master de kama spider baba ko. Nti ye ko park car no inside wo. Na e twen say load bedroom nti no. Nso ni tona me ka tell spider baba say omen kika na ede. Enduana no so nso bia na ede. Alemba nti anche na nso ni ede. Eba inside wo. Na nso ni peja kasan. Nti the catcher so kaba ko si echi my kwan no person ba my kwan yeah na yesi so no eden e ko fok no answer tu ka no e ko duwa na bato a jisen so na kasa na be den e be da te ka no e do afa akra kwan ti o den da 35 na e ko du police station e so eden e park share police station sa e say so na ba ma hono nyina e ma ana oil and petrol nam so ni e bon ti ama ye na hu nyina hye nti ye ne me dem fokano akotena kana pempem ti dem say ojana to but we dan bi echi wonu eje posa no bia kan say obi andwane o ti ye say dwane pepe o na ahye wonu dada
and of course to say mimi wajuma me aduma hana chef restaurant nti nsu ne say ba na nsu ne yiri ba ho na ye sesa de e be free be aduma ne ye dwane ne apreti ti ye kona say jano so at see gunsun petrol ne gunsun ti jano nam nsu no ma eba.
I work at Hannah's Chef Restaurant. When the water was approaching our workplace, we decided to run to save our lives. We saw that the fire was burning on the water surface. We were burning and drowning at the same time. My face is bent. So when the water was carrying me away, I held on to a tree and I climbed the tree, and I saw others also climbing the same tree. Then later 2 guys came to my rescue. People have died. I thank God. God has been kind to me. We were first taken to Ridge Hospital where we were given first aid, and I came to Kolebu today.
I'm a foka me ko Santa Maria, but you see say cancer and me fa come see say cancer and me fa ko Santa Maria nti. We see you no nsu ni bana.
I was in a car to Santa Maria, so we alighted at Circle, and I went to the filling station for shelter. I stood there for about 30 minutes. All I saw was the water and fuel coming towards us.
The one say, look up now, the channel, Bibi, up, who soon said the gas. I don't know.
I saw a spark. So when I saw that, I moved because I thought I was drowning in the water. Before I realized, I was at the Adabraka police station. From there, I walked to Kolebu Teaching Hospital. There was no vehicle available, and the water had carried my money away. From Kolebu, I took a trotro to Mampobi, and I walked home.
So these are victims or survivors of the fire incident. You know, it was a twin disaster. So there was flood, there was fire. Now let's hear voices of those who survived the floods.
Actually, in 1995, we had that experience, but it wasn't like this. But this year, it travels from my house to the next 2 houses, which means there's a problem down there. You see, the drainage, they need to dig. The sand in the drainage is too much, so we find it difficult. In fact, the water can flow. My DVD, my wall screen television, a whole lot. My wardrobe, it fell on the ground. Everything it's up to my stomach level. Yes. So just imagine. There's nothing we can take out. Yes, I drove my car out and I picked my sisters and put them in the bus.
In my room sleeping. Me and my sister, we were in the room sleeping. And then we found out that the water has entered inside our room. Can you imagine the number of the money that I have? All of it. We've lost everything. Our passports, our money, everything is lost. So we are begging the government to please to come to our aid.
My bed is now spot. I can't sleep on it again. My bed sheets, even a dress to wear is a problem to me now. You understand? Yes. And the most annoying part is that my documents I had to travel, my passport and everything, I can't find them. The chairs in my room and everything is gone. And so it's a problem for us.
So those were some persons affected by the June 3 twin disaster some 10 years ago, and we've put together a documentary to help preserve that memory and retell that story, so that if the lessons are lost on us, we go back, trace our steps, and take actions that will help us learn from that and not waste the tragedy that claimed so many lives and destroyed properties, as you heard was recounted. There are so many promises that were made, action points that were supposed to be executed. We'll take a look at that. But Kuku David joins us. He has put together a documentary on this that will air later tonight. You know, the files have a way of putting you back into the situation. Yeah. And what was the emotion you went through, you know, reliving all those very tragic scenes?
Initially, it was very difficult. Dealing with the footage, because some of the footage I had seen before, others I was seeing for the very first time.
Right.
And it was the conversations that I had. One with the assemblyman, who was the assemblyman of the area at that time. He happens to now be the deputy NADMO director for this constituency. So,
right.
Yeah. And then I had conversations with two of the victims of the fire, who obviously were survivors, but the impact that it has had on their lives.
After 10 years.
After 10 years, you know, and for them recounting the stories and recounting their memories of what happened that day, it was difficult. Yeah, it was difficult. In fact, the assemblyman broke down and was tearing up. And I was asking him what was going through his mind. And he said, he asked me, have I ever seen the movie Apocalypto? And I said, yes. And he said, do I remember the scene where the fire had blazed through, I think it was a forest or something, and people were dead. And that's what he saw. As he got down the next morning, when he got to Circle, okay, from in front of the Anglican church all the way down to the Gold filling station, all the way left towards the Odo River. Dead bodies just laying down, just dead bodies. So some people were killed by the fire, others were killed by the flood. Okay, and some people died in their homes in the flood because people were asleep. Okay, so it's a tragedy of unparalleled proportions, you know, and it's a mistake, or should I say, it's a negligence of duty bearers largely. So there's the element. I don't know. You remember what the president said in his speech, that many of the tributaries that run through Accra are coming from the mountains, right? Yes. And they come through and they're heading towards the sea.
True.
If we block the water at any point, we are creating a challenge. And the interchange at the time had just been constructed. Correct. It wasn't yet open because the highest road, the highest overpass, had not yet been completed. Right. But the bottom part had been open for movement. Right. But there was a lot of debris. There were blocks. There were slabs. There were things lying around, everything. And it appears that the drainage hadn't been sorted out completely at that point. Right. So June 3rd, 2015 seems to have had the worst of whatever flooding cycle has ever experienced before. Prior to 2015 and post 2015, it's never been that bad. Okay, waters rose to people's shoulder levels. Wow. Okay, in some of the housing behind the so if you get to where the Goa filling station is.
Correct. Okay, so
Bediako Pharmacy,
GCB Bank.
Yes, GCB. So let's track it. So GCB Bank, yes. The Goa filling station. Yes. You have Bediako Pharmacy, yes. Which doesn't exist anymore in that space. We had then the Honest Chef, and then a few other structures. And then it comes to the road that leads to now the Holy Hill Chapel. Correct. Good. That entire enclave was underwater. I mean, water must have been maybe 5-6 feet high, So, and running through people's homes.
What are we going to see when we tune in to watch this documentary? What I remember, the time I was a student, I was on campus. I was in third year. We were at Radio University. It rained so heavily we had to wait hours later to get a car that was going towards Mensa Sabah. Yeah. And you got to Sabah and the whole place was flooded. Yes. It was then that we tuned in and noticed that there was a national disaster actually, and Citi was covering the thing very comprehensively. Then we went on Citi socials and saw, my goodness, it was a truck. And folks were carrying bodies that were charred beyond, recognition. They were throwing human bodies onto trucks like they were cement or some bags. Commodity. Very difficult pictures to watch. But tell us what we are going to see tonight.
Well, the basic idea here was to retell the story. George Santayana says that if any people that don't remember the mistakes of their past are bound to repeat it, and so I think that's one of the things that for me was a driving passion in putting this together, to say that we haven't done well by way of memorializing the incident and saying that never again, right? We can do the talk and say never again, but until we put something concrete on the ground to say, Caleb, imagine.
This reminds us of
Caleb, imagine any 25-year-old today. Person was 15 at the time. Where were they? Where were all 15-year-olds at that time? People don't remember. People have forgotten. It's just 10 years. People don't remember. You see, so you think about it, any 25-year-old was 15 at the time. And for me, the fact that we don't even have a memorial down there at the place where it happened speaks to a greater problem of who we are as a people. Think about other tragedies that have happened in the country. I mean, I don't want to digress of this, but May 9th is one that came recently. What do we do? What have we done? And we always
they go to the stadium. I'm just saying they go to the stadium every morning and do some stuff.
Yes, but
there's
you
like
see,
a plaque. But
the
fact is, stadium safety is not where it should be.
Thank you. And for me, this is the issue. We do all the talk, all the grand speeches and everything else. Never again. We say we have to remove buildings from waterways, but we are afraid to remove some people's buildings from waterways. You see, and that's for me the issue. At the end of the day, the documentary seeks to just retell the story and remind us that this is something that actually happened right here in Ghana, right here in Accra.
So historical accounts, no matter how tragic or gory, around the world, states try to put up memorials to remind itself of its gory past, and so that forges a sense of drive towards not having that repeated any longer. But so for example, you have a situation where if you go to the scene where the thing happened,
there's nothing there. People are shopping and doing business.
If you are not in Ghana in 2015, if you go to Circle where the incident happened, nothing there will remind you that anything that tragic. How old were you when this happened? Where were you when this happened?
Just finished high school.
Yeah. You see, so herein lies the challenge. Unless we do something concrete, and for me, I'm not even saying that let's go now and go to Circle and go and build something. No, I'm just saying that let's change our attitude towards these things.
Yeah, but these memorials are symbols for a reason. The symbolism matters, so that if you have them, then they always jolt your conscience and say, hey, let's wake up. 100%. This has ever happened before. We saw people crying for their lives, burning to death. Some died in their sleep, covered by water. Some have lost their property. Some have lost lifetime opportunities, and some remain with us. They survived, but they've been maimed for the rest of their lives. Let's have a memorial that jots our memory that for all our getting money and trying to build in waterways, it should be a silent and poignant reminder to us that, look, we are preparing ourselves for yet another disaster. Because if you drive around the country, nothing shows in how we are planning our space and how we are living that we've ever learned anything. The president talked about the vulture that said that it is going to build its house when the rain stops, but it never did. Are we not behaving like one? Or have we not?
There's a saying generally, and I'll modify it to say that it is only a fool who repeats a particular method of doing things, knowing full well that will produce a result that will not lead to anything useful. So you keep doing the same thing, hoping that things will change, and knowing full well that, look, you will still achieve the results that you did not like in the first place, merely because you have not learned the art of doing things differently. Look, as the man who sat in the studio to deal with the story and going to the scene thereafter, telling the stories of people who were impacted by the fire, families who lost loved ones, people who were burnt, spent years on admission in hospital, undergoing reconstructive surgery, people, their bodies had to be modified because of the extent to which they suffered burns. I mean,
I speak to one of them,
it is something
shocking.
that still lives with me. You understand? As I said in that post, it's one of the things I covered that I can hardly forget. And so till today, if it is raining and I am moving towards a particular direction, there's no way, with the greatest you expect me to go and park at a filling station. And in fact, that would explain my own accident sometime later in life.
Right.
You understand?
Because, it was after some rains.
Yeah, that's right. It was raining, and I got to a filling station. I could have easily gone there to go and park, but I remembered this thing. I said, no, wait, let me just try on. I tried on, had an issue with my tire, and then everything came crashing. The point I'm making is that imagine the people who actually are still living with the disaster.
So anytime the clouds gather, they have panic attacks.
Exactly. Because these were who? trotro drivers,
Right.
people who were selling by the roadside, people, fuel attendants, people who had returned from work, and nurses and all manner of health workers who had returned from work, hoping to get home, got to Kwame Nkrumah Circle. You know, normally in the evenings you struggle for vehicles. It was raining, so they sought
shelter from the rain.
Exactly.
Sky, the saddest thing for me, and I wanted to find out from you actually before I share this, that for you, what is the most graphic memory that you have?
So I listed 5 things that my colleague lifted on
from
the
Facebook.
show. Yes.
Yeah.
So the first one for me was the what do you call it? The heartbreaking screams.
Yes. Wow.
You know, because as Richard was reporting, you could hear people
are screaming
because
they are burning.
Exactly, because you know water is heavier than fuel, right? So once water entered the what do you call it?
The underground tank.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It dislodged.
Yes.
So the fuel
come
was
to the
elevated,
surface.
it came to the surface. And because of the fire, it was moving like, like you see it in movies.
Oh, yeah.
Like that.
Yes.
You understand? And people wearing clothes, their clothes caught fire.
Yeah.
And, it bent deep into their bodies because the clothes had become soaked with the fuel. Forgive us, I mean, for the graphic description. But
it's important.
So sitting on air and hearing that. And seeing what happened a day after. The lack of dignity that even went into how we conveyed
the bodies
out of that. Those two for me stand 1, 2.
Wow.
Then you go to what? The inescapably graphic scenes and horrifying pictures of the dead on the morning after. I saw a young boy who, it must have been a boy or a girl, a relation was carrying him in tears.
Wow.
And others were trying to cover the remains or the body of
some of the bodies.
Exactly. And it was a haunting photograph, and it still haunts me.
Yeah.
You understand? So the point I'm making is that if 150 people
at least
on one night, at least, because there are people I believe we cannot simply account for, just died like that, we set up a whole investigative body to look into the matter. 10 years on, the people who either played a part in what happened or actually caused it, we have not been able to hold anybody, properly speaking, accountable at the proper forum, a court of law. Then there is a serious problem with this country. It is just like the May 9th disaster. People died. There was an attempt to exact justice. Ultimately, it didn't really produce the result that we wanted. You go to the Malcolm disaster. Again, I covered that disaster as well. People died when a building came down.
2012.
Right? For days, the Israelis had to support us to try and dig through the rubble and recover both victims and then also survivors. Up to today, to date, not a single soul has been, properly speaking, held accountable for that disaster. And then I can go on and on and on about how floods have happened in this country. Things have happened. People have died on the roads in road crashes. And yet accountability is something that is far from happening.
Kuku, for the documentary we will see at 7 p.m. on Channel 1 TV later tonight, right? What were the people you spoke to demanding? What were their hopes?
So Thomas Citi said something, and he says, I may look okay. I may look okay when you look at me.
Right.
Because he's one of the few people who actually, even though he was badly burnt, it appears his skin processes hurt differently, know. So he looks very well recovered, except you can see some slight scarring on his skin. But we saw pictures of when he was burnt, So you will see that in the documentary, And he was saying that, unfortunately, people walk away and they don't know what internally, how people are hurting. Because a lot of people, like Alex Mensah, for example, Alex Mensah can't get a job. Now, this is a very experienced driver. He'd been driving for years, right? When this incident happened, he drives into the filling station ostensibly to get fuel and then drive off. But he had planned with his mate that the following day they were going to do an oil change. So he said to him, "Go inside the mart, the mart, to get me some oil from the mart." Whilst he was at the pump, but the pump wasn't dispensing because the floodwaters had started to rise, and they had just started to rise.
No.
Now, he said there was a strong scent of fuel, but it was like we're in a gas station. What was the big deal, right? Then he heard, "Ejabo, Ejabo." That's what he heard. And when he turned,
explosion.
No, he saw a blue flame on the surface of the water that was rising. Now you see, this is blue flame is because the fire is encountering the purest of oxygen. That's why it's a blue flame. As soon as it starts to encounter other material that it cannot combust properly, you begin to see the yellow. So we are used to yellow flames, but the yellow flame is actually because of poor combustion.
Right.
Pure combustion is blue flame. All right. Now, this is what he saw initially. And then people started to run. But he said his mate, and the water started rising very fast. His mate came out of the place. He never saw where his mate passed after that. Because the mate said, "Look, how it's happening," everybody was scattering, right? So he saw his mate running in a particular direction till today.
He's not set eyes on him.
The family, nobody knows where the mate went. His body was never recovered. Nobody knows anything about him. Yes, and and that's not the only story. There are many people who never found their loved ones.
Yeah.
Because the door is huge.
That's a
and it will carry bodies.
That's a chilling way to lose a loved one.
Yeah.
See, and you see, he himself as a victim.
Yes.
You read something from what I wrote. There are people who are still today trapped in their own bodies because they no longer have what would ordinarily have been confidence in their body.
Yeah.
You understand? Because as a result of the levels of burns we've seen, it is almost impossible to actually use any form of, plastic surgery intervention to actually reconstruct them properly. Because you can only do so much as a surgeon, right? Yeah. And these are people, like you said, he can no longer get a job.
He can't get a job. When he goes anywhere to try and get a job, all you're seeing is somebody who's scarred and marred beyond, normal human appearance, right? So then people just reject you. I read a story, and I didn't interview him in my documentary, but Solomon Akurugu. Okay. I read a story about him where he said that, and he's been begging. He walks around Accra begging, right? Okay. Now, he says somebody said to him, looked at him. He was burnt in this fire. Somebody looked at him one day and said that if only you remove the mask from your face and go and find a job, you'll be a better person. That somebody said that to him. Very heartless comment, but maybe in a certain sense, the person really thought the burnt face was a mask he was wearing.
It's crazy.
And it also raises an issue to do with, first of all, I spoke about accountability.
Yeah.
Compensation.
Yeah.
Look, there was an attempt to pay something, paltry sums. Look, in other jurisdictions where I train in the UK, you can't play a part in a disaster like this and you are not slapped with a lawsuit that would ensure that the right degree, the appropriate degree of compensation is paid to the people involved.
In this case, Kai, if I'm to tap into your legal training, who are the persons we are to hold culpable?
So there are a number of issues here. I know some experts have said that the construction of the Circle Dubai may well have played a part
in the flooding.
Yeah. Some experts have asserted that publicly. Then,
even to buttress that point, there's a reason why the Garrett project has been built next to that, the Dubai, to to drive water from that area back into the Odo. And it's not been completed yet. It's under construction as we speak.
Aramco, the contractors working. This is the drain right behind GCB Bank.
Exactly.
Where the Odona market used to be.
Just to buttress what Sky was saying.
So in that case, the contractors or the state?
So that has been alleged. The question is whether state institutions looked into the matter and then determined whether there's some viable evidence to back that assertion, because these are experts speaking.
Okay.
Because if you go to court, yes, you need evidence to back whatever an expert will be saying on the
So
subject.
are we saying the contractors or the state in this case?
In that case, it would have been the contractors. And I'm not saying here that they have done anything wrong. I'm just saying that
based on the expert opinion
expressed publicly, it would seem that they ought to have answered some questions, because the construction, in the view of some experts,
should include drainage.
Exactly. And at the time, it sort of impeded the flow of water.
Okay.
Of course, we had already paid money consistently to a number of contractors to dredge the Odo River. Now, the question is whether those contractors
had done their job at the time.
Done their job, and whether it is possible to draw a direct link, no matter how tenuous, between the non-performance of that contract. If there was something like that, it would seem that there's some evidence to support the fact that the job was not done properly.
Yeah.
And the disaster.
No, Sky, I agree with you, because the assemblyman also asserted that because the Odo was full to the brim and overflowing, all the floodwaters that were coming from Farah Avenue, Asalam down, all the rest could not access the Odo River because the Odo River was also overflowing and the water was backwashing. And that's what made the waters at Circle rise.
Of course, still on that matter, there are some people who suggest that maybe there may well have been high tide just south of us.
On the day.
So that it made it impossible for the
flow easily.
Exactly. But these are all matters that expertise would have unearthed. Of course, we set up a body to investigate the matter. And at the point, the suggestion was that some smokers or some people smoking something led to the disaster and all of that. And so, as we speak, we've not really held anybody accountable.
Gentlemen,
I think that is it's unfortunate.
Yes.
And if there's a way of looking into this matter, I do know that the Statute of Limitation Act may well be at play, because of if it is a tort, if it is somebody's negligence. The question is, can you, after all these years, 10 years,
establish culpability?
But of course, on these matters, there are always exceptions in the public interest in some cases. So I don't know how we can get around this matter. But some way, somehow,
something must be done. Yeah, and the point I liked, which the president made, is that it was time to come. Time had come to remove property that were in the waterway, because then a lot of the water that's gushing down the hill is, obstructed by properties and structures put in its way. We'll get to that, but we'll take a very quick break. When we are back from this break, we're doing a number of things. Bear with me. We'll come back to this issue and look at how we can deal with it, because it appears on the other side, which is the preventive learning or moving forward, we've not learned. We're still building in such manner as reckless that is setting us up for, knock on wood, something as such. We'll take a very quick break. When we are back, we'll bring you the APSA On Air series as part of the City Business Festival. Today we are looking at financial planning. We're trying to put all things together for you. Just stay with us. We'll be back to this conversation and tie it all together. So we'll take a quick break. When we are back, Muksi as the financial director, APSA Bank Ghana, will be back to take financial planning lessons from him.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
It's your day off and you end up looking after the baby while your wife goes off to work. You realize you have no idea how to change a diaper. So you video call your wife.
Hello, darling.
Yeah, hello.
Kojo, is everything all right?
Everything is not all right. I'm not seeing Topo. How do I change a baby's diaper, please?
Kojo. Okay, first, put the diaper.
The video call freezes. While you wait for the internet to catch up, the baby sprouts a fountain and wets the diaper. As you are getting a new one, your wife comes back online.
Kojo, no.
but I had to go and get a new diaper. What must I do next? I beg, quick.
Open the front of the diaper. It's the side that has...
Wow, look, the video freezes again. Abba.
By now, you know where the conversation is going. There's no buffering in real life, so why accept it from your internet connection? Get connected and experience ultra-fast internet to your home, powered by MTN Fiber Broadband. From the Internet Masters.
MTN, everywhere you go.
So you need a vehicle tracking system to manage your fleet. But how do you choose the right company for real results? Most tracking companies just sell you a system and leave you on your own. But at Instroma GPS, we go beyond that. With expert consultation, real-time tracker monitoring, emergency support, and constant updates, we make sure you maximize savings and efficiency. Join hundreds of businesses that trust Instroma GPS for world-class fleet management. Call 024-676-7662 now for a free demo. Instroma GPS. Your choice, your savings.
Where are you?
Boss man, I'm at the bank.
Really? But your car is in front of your house.
Bro, my bank on my phone, Charlie.
Oh, how?
EcoBank, bro. With EcoBank mobile app, I can do everything, anywhere, anytime. Listen, I just checked my account balance, paid Ahmed's school fees, and sent money to my grandma at Walwale.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Masa, just download the EcoBank mobile app from the Google Play Store or the App Store, or dial *770# and be your own bank manager.
Manager.
Whether to pay bills or fees, to check account statements, send money across Ghana, abroad, and more, EcoBank mobile app has got it covered. EcoBank Mobile, making everyday people live everyday lives the EcoBank way. EcoBank, the Pan-African bank.
As a busy professional, I struggled with back and neck strain from long hours at my desk. To improve my focus, productivity, and well-being, I sought expert advice from the CEO of Expert Office Furnish.
After being in the furniture business for 25 years, I can tell you two things that causes back pain in the workspace: bad sitting posture and not sitting on a good chair. I recommend to you the Genevia Beeper chair, the chair that helps you to sit right. When you don't sit right, it beeps for you to be able to sit right. The next will be the Enjoy chair. It takes every body shape and size. Buy a chair that will support your back and give you that comfort to be able to deliver on your job.
Expert Office Furnish offers molding furniture for comfort, productivity, and style. From seating to customized solutions, plus interior decoration services, they've got it all. Find them off the Atomic Hills Estate Road in Ashonman or call 0571 386602 on Facebook and Instagram at Expert Office Furnish.
This is the City Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
15 after 9, 97.3 City FM, City Breakfast Show it is. To the boss ladies, yes, the go-getter, the planner, the do-it-all woman, building a business one bold step at a time. MTN sees you. MTN is sharing you every step of the way. That's why they've created the MTN Ejumapa just for you. Special data call bundles. Stay connected to your customer, suppliers, everything that helps your hustle grow. And we have an insurance package for you that helps protect the business you've worked so hard to build. So it's time to level up. Dial *5060#. Grab the Ejumapa bundle and let's get to work on your success story together. MTN Ejumapa, powering women in business. Looking for a little more in life without spending more? I get it. Every city counts. That's why I want to share something that's really made a difference for me. The Absa Abapa account is designed for people like us, those who work hard and deserve more for less. Here's what I get with my Absa Abapa account: a free GH Link card, access to loans up to 50,000 Ghana cedis when I need help, high interest on savings, free SMS alerts to track every peso I spend, seamless mobile and online banking, no need to join long queues, and many more. And the best part is simple to open. If you're looking for more revenue or more value, more peace of mind, more control over your money, Absa Abapa account is just for you. Open one today and get more. T's and C's apply. Your story matters, Absa. So let's jump into our City Business Festival on-air series on financial planning for today. Enjoy.
This is 97.3 Citi FM and Channel 1 TV. It is the first week of the Citi Business Festival 2025, still on personal financing. And today we are coming your way with another round of conversation. Today we are talking about the concept of financial planning, personal financial planning. How do we secure our funds and financially protect ourselves and deliver on that particular mandate when it comes to our future as well? My name is Nila Atilate. Thank you so much for joining us for another round of the on-air series of the Citi Business Festival. All that and more on financial planning coming up if you do stay with me. This is the 2025 edition of the Citi Business Festival. It is powered by 97.3 Citi FM as well as Channel 1 TV. We are sponsored by Absa Bank Ghana Limited, M10 Ghana, and Zonda Tech Ghana Limited. Today I'm speaking with one of the big men at Absa Bank Ghana Limited, and Mr. Kush Mukushe is the finance director at the Absa Bank Ghana Limited, and he joins us today for us to really talk about personal financing as part of the honor series of the Citi Business Festival. Sir, thank you so much for joining us and welcome to the program.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
You are one of the big guys at Absa, and today, what a better person for us to have this conversation with. But I first want to understand your role at Absa. When you say you are the director of finance, what do you do on a typical day?
Okay. Nee, thank you very much, and welcome to your listeners and viewers. A typical day for me involves essentially 4 buckets. The first one is recording what has happened. In most businesses, there is a need to look at the financial outcomes of the activities of the business. The second one is making sure that our systems and processes have appropriate controls around them. So, you can imagine trying to fill up a bucket with holes in it. It's quite a challenging exercise. So we review processes. We find out that in situations where there have been modifications and things like that, we make sure that the processes and the approvals and the sign-offs are in place.
I see.
The third bucket is financial planning for the business.
I see.
Right. Thinking about what are our short, medium, and long-term objectives. Where do we need to allocate resources? How do we fund that? What expectations do we expect? It can involve things like, what if scenarios. So what if things go better than expected? What if they go as expected? What if they don't go as expected? And then the final bucket is more strategic thinking. So as the business, in collaboration with all the other areas, is thinking about its strategic objectives, I and my team have a role to play in giving you the financial impact of what that might look like and trying to optimize that, making sure that we are
a really interesting point you make, and I like how you describe it as 4 buckets. And in that third bucket you talk about is financial planning for the business. And so if we are to explain and bring it down to the personal level, for us to have the conversation we are having today, personal financial planning. I see 3 key words there: personal, financial, and planning. If we put all of these 3 words together, what goes beyond it in terms of personal financing? If you can really break it down and unpack it for us.
Yeah, so I think essentially within financial planning, there's 2 elements, right? There is the theory and the sort of the data and the maths, and then there's the behaviors, the discipline and the execution. And both are important in driving, desired financial outcomes. If we look at the theory type side, it's really understanding what your state is today. So what's your incoming? If you have a small business, how much are you making? How does that vary across the year? There'll be good times, let's say Christmas, there's a lot of activity. There'll be times when the activity is lower. If you are a salaried worker, maybe, then you have a degree of predictability. If you are a student, you may be working ad hoc jobs, but then you need to make sure that you've got time available for study, etc. Looking at that and being, quite honest and dispassionate with yourself about your state of play today, how much is coming in, how much are you spending, and let's, be optimistic and say that that is a positive number, right? So there's an opportunity then to save. There's a little bit left over at the end of the month or the end of the year. There's an opportunity to save. There's an opportunity to invest. There may be an opportunity to do other things, consume, right? If you've got the funds, you may be able to travel to see family or spend a little bit more on gifts for loved ones, things like that. That is essentially the bucket of theory. You look at what's coming in, you look at what's going out, and then you've got to decide what you do with the surplus.
I see. So with this picture that you paint, I see one thing running through. That's income. So if you don't have the income, you are not able to plan beyond the theory and the data you talk about. So at what level you say that my income is sufficient for me to go into financial planning? Mind you, we are in this part of the country or the world where a lot of people say that their wages or salaries are not enough for them to go ahead to put some aside in terms of financial planning.
I still think even without income, you can do some financial planning.
Interesting.
But that relies more on the second bucket.
All right.
Right, which is discipline. And so we all know that there's a cost of living, and yes, you're right. It's in this part of the world, it's unpredictable and variable, and things can change very quickly. What I would say is that if you're in a situation where you don't have income, you look at the skills and capabilities you have today and the opportunities to derive some income from them, right? So it could be that you're just coming out of education, you're looking for a role. What you need then, your financial planning matrix may look at, okay, I just need to make enough to live, but then I need to use my spare time to gain experience that will improve my CV, allow me to get a better job, or allow me to start a business of a different nature. So the way you're thinking about your financial planning in this sense is, I'm not intending to create a surplus. I'm intending to meet my basic needs. That will create surplus time. That additional time I'm using to acquire additional skills or additional experience, which in the future I'm intending to monetize. I'm intending to turn into additional income and therefore get myself a little bit more financially stable. If you think about that very intentionally, then you may be more, you can then start to be disciplined about, okay, 3 days a week, 4 days a week, this is what I'm doing. The other remainder of the week, 3-4 days a week, this is what I'm doing. Part of that is doing odd jobs. Maybe one of the jobs I've seen recently is university students helping those who are in SHS with their studies.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like you're an informal tutor because you've recently done it. Okay, you do that. It's not a particularly high-paying job, right? And it will require you to go near and far and be ad hoc. But remember, your goal is skills acquisition,
right?
Not necessarily financial surplus. So you can plan financially, your medium-term goals, financial security, but you are thinking about how you get there. If you are in a situation where you've already got an income, then you can be in income surplus, income neutral, where you're just meeting your needs, or income deficit. And in reality, people go through all of those cycles
at every point in time, right?
Through your life. And sometimes one I do want to talk about is, sometimes you have the unforeseen, right?
Emergencies come up.
Emergencies come up, you don't. And this is where, if you just refer back to one of the statements I made earlier, I said, if you are fortunate enough to have a situation where you previously had surplus, I talked about savings, investments, and consumption. Savings is really important because this is money you put away that is essentially a cushion for unforeseen events, right? Investments is important because this is disposable income that you can influence, but you're thinking about it in terms of making future income. Those two are distinct, right? Savings needs to hold its value as best it can, but it's designed to cushion you against unforeseen. And then the final one is consumption, right? And I think it's that order is key. You secure yourself today against unforeseen events. You think about how you can use today's capital to generate future income streams for yourself. And then once you've done that, then you've got a little bit of extra disposable.
I see. But back to the issue of, income deficit, which you earlier alluded to, in the scheme of the savings, investment, and also consumption, where does debt come in terms of the equation? Because a lot of people are also running, their lives in a manner that they are always in debt. The indebtedness is there. And so if you want to plan financially for your future and you have this heavy burden of debt on you, how do you deal with that?
Yeah, it's a good question. And I think debt essentially does two things. And before I go into that, let me make the statement that, debt under control can be a very useful tool.
Right.
But it requires discipline, it requires control. Debt out of control can be a very tricky place to be. So debt does two things. What it does is it may bring forward income that you're expecting. Let's say you were expecting some income in December. You have an emergency now. You can borrow now, right, to deal with that emergency. And it will give you some breathing space until December. The discipline element of it is that money that was earmarked for December has already been spent, right? What I see sometimes is that you get into debt, and because your ability to pay off the debt is, let's say, over 2 or 3 years, that additional income that came in December, you think, okay, that's additional income. So it looks like surplus, when really that keeps you in debt for longer. So if you think about it, debt as an acceleration of income, then you do have to be very disciplined.
I see, so quote unquote, some form of life support for the interim.
For the interim.
You put it under control.
Yes.
And you stay the course. But where does insurance also come in the scheme of things when it comes to financial planning? And I'm asking you because of, your insight you have when it comes to bank assurance activities at ABSA, for example.
So if you permit me, I'll finish the second bit of debt and then I'll come on to insurance.
That's okay.
So the second bit of debt is, you borrow to utilize. So you can utilize for consumption or you can utilize for investment. Utilizing debt for investment means you take the money, you borrow the money, you're putting in something that will generate cash, right? That will pay off the debt. That in of itself, many businesses use. It's a well-known, well-structured investment strategy. What do you need to do? You need to be careful that you don't take on too much debt. Right? So you need to watch carefully. What if my business doesn't perform exactly? You need to do some sort of financial forecasting. If it performs as planned, I'll be able to pay off the debt. Maybe if it's 10% lower, I can still pay off the debt. You're still in good shape.
All right.
Debt for consumption is an area that I think you need to consider carefully. Doing it on a long-term basis can start, a debt cycle.
Right.
Because you are...
Which will be problematic.
Yeah. You're borrowing to consume, and that consumption isn't necessarily generating any additional value. So if you find yourself, borrowing to meet everyday needs, then we've got to look at your income and your expenses, right? And that then is an indicator for you to sort of review your current kind of financial status. Coming on to insurance. Insurance is a bit like savings. Except what you're doing is you're having an agreement with a company that says, I'll pay you a premium, and that should these specific type of events occur, then you will come and support me, you bail me out, right? Savings is obviously more general, but it may not have the same level of support and delivery as insurance for those specific areas. And so, if you are, you're fortunate enough to own a vehicle, you want to make sure that if that, should the worst happen, if that occurs, that you have some means of recovery, especially if that vehicle is central to the functioning of a business, right? You have a small delivery business, you need that vehicle to make cash. The delivery business is going well, you have an unforeseen event, is in a crash. That's when insurance steps in, and effectively you recover the benefit of those premiums you've paid.
Fantastic point right there. That's Kush Mukushi. He is Director of Finance at Absa Bank Ghana Limited, speaking to us here on financial planning basics as part of the honor series of the Citi Business Festival. We are taking a short break. When we come back, I'll be asking him about the flexibility when it comes to, financial planning, who should do it. And you heard him talk about discipline. I'll be asking him how to stay the course. Don't go away. You're welcome back. This is still the honor series of the Citi Business Festival 2025. My guest today is Kush Mukushi, Director of Finance at Absa Bank Ghana, talking to us about personal financial planning. And before we went on that break, he was giving me the element when it comes to financial planning. We have savings, we have investment, we have consumption, and even we brought in a bit of, debt management as well as insurance. But Kush, even as we continue this conversation, who should do the financial planning? Is it you, or you have to seek the services of a financial service provider? At what point in time do you realize that it is crucial for me to go into financial planning, and where?
Yeah, I think you can start financial planning as soon as you essentially start spending the savings in life. Indeed, the sooner the better. The basic elements of financial planning, spending now versus spending later, whether or not I spend on something that will require more cost. Those kinds of basic elements can be started as very early in life. In terms of who should be doing it, my encouragement is that as an individual, you do it for yourself to start with, right? So secondary school, JHS, SHS.
Quite an early age there.
You really, I do recommend it. And it can be as something as simple as your call credit, right? It just sets the basic behaviors that, okay, this week I've got 10 CDs, okay, I've managed myself. Let me check what are the bundles that are available, what's the value per megabyte or per minute of this one, which one should I use? Those principles, those ideas are applicable later in life. You are simply trying to optimize, what you get for whatever financial resources you've got. Later on in life, in a bigger family unit, then you can do it, depending on the specifics of that. So a married couple or friends may choose to do it together. If you're going into business with friends, then you may choose to do it as a group. The benefits of that is you can have a different perspective. You can build in a little bit of review and challenge, right? Where I put my case forward and somebody may try and pose questions to, debunk that case and say, what if this happens? What if that happens? That helps you strengthen the overall resilience of your financial plan.
But what are the dynamics when it comes to the duration for financial planning? I'm sure people may want to go in for the short term, others for the medium term, others for the long haul. Are there any tricks or specific directives when you are settling for any of these, financial planning schemes?
Yeah, I think you sort of have to do it, at the same time. Right. There's a long-term guidance, right? Let's say your long-term objective is, I want to own my own property, something like that. That can allow you to say that, okay, by the time I'm, a certain age, I need to have my own business, or I need to be had a job of a certain level. That means I need certain skills or certain levels of experience. That can inform where you spend your time today. But you're not expecting to achieve that objective immediately, right? At the same time, you've got to live day to day, right? And so you do need to know whether or not your current behaviors are taking you on or off track. And I think a typical example, it may seem a little bit, basic or simple, but a typical example is that if you track your spend, just track your spend over a month, and you find that you are spending more than you thought you were, you probably find it's these an accumulation of little expenses that's adding up to a big one. And it may be that when you are going out to see your friends every weekend, you're spending a little bit more money on an Uber instead of coming home together on public transport or staying overnight at your friend's house. These are very trivial examples, but practical in the sense that you can choose very, very quickly to say, guys, you know what? This week we'll meet here. This week we'll meet here. All you're doing is planning. You know what you're doing. You're not caught off guard. You're not at the wrong side of town when the boys or the girls are meeting. You can change your menu at home. This is something I've done, right? I used to eat much more of the sort of refined, imported stuff. I found a lot of local recipes I like, changed my menu, right? I still enjoy my food.
All part of the planning process.
And I did it because there was a point in my life where I thought, the balance wasn't there. And to do that, you need to have been tracking, right?
If you don't track, you'll not be able to see the loopholes.
Exactly right.
I see. Really fine point you make over there. But yesterday when we were talking about savings, one of the things that came to light was the fact that if a country has a low savings culture or rate, it means that its people consume a lot, and it's a reflection of the society itself. When it comes to financial planning, is it the same sentiment that if people are not personally financing their lives and planning for it thereof, it's also a reflection of society and it channels its way into various aspects of the economy?
It can be, right? But the way I prefer to look at it is you can definitely have cultural elements that mean that its consumption is expected of you. The typical one, I think, is Christmas, right? I think this is where I think financial planning can be helpful. If you know that at Christmas, typically, when you go home to family, there's going to be a lot of consumption because it's that time of year, then think about your income January to November and put a little bit away, right? And in doing so, don't just wait until Christmas to then start, looking at the goods or buying. Maybe buy some things in advance because it might be cheaper because it's not a high demand time, right? The things you can, right? Obviously, there'll be some things you can't. All of that takes discipline.
I see. So in the spirit of that, even before we come to the issue of discipline, are you able to, on top of your head, for example, propose a financial plan for our listeners, our viewers? Say somebody has a salary of 3,000 Ghana cedis, side gigs 1,000 cedis, maybe gifts and other things, another 1,000 Ghana cedis, bringing everything together at 5,000 Ghana cedis a month. If you're able to propose such a plan, what about the issue of flexibility? How much flexibility, the level of flexibility in that particular plan? Then we'll conclude with the issue of, discipline.
Sure. Look, proposing a plan is quite challenging because it's dependent on your specific circumstances and wants and needs. So it's something that I would say, you should think of and perhaps bounce off a trusted friend, right, or family member. But I'm unable with such a broad audience to be able to do something. It would be very generic, and I wouldn't want to take somebody down a path that may not be appropriate for them. What I would say is that, as a rule of thumb, if you've got some regular income, no matter how small it is, do try and save, right? And saving is important. The way I can tell you from personal experience, it has worked for me, is, when I started out, I was a neutral. I spent everything I earned and struggled to put anything away. Got a little bit of an opportunity, took a step up. So I was earning a little bit more. I did not increase my spending. That additional item As soon as the salary arrived, I put it in a savings account.
I see.
So I didn't feel that. And then you build up a savings pot, that gives you options.
That's also a bit of discipline in there, if you ask me. And so it's one thing to plan, it's another thing to follow through. And so what's that one non-negotiable tip when it comes to financial planning, how to stay the course, how to be disciplined in order to secure your future? And is ABSA offering any form of support or advice in that regard as well? You can combine the two questions,
sure,
and then we conclude.
Sure. So the first one I'd say is, make the savings as soon as you can in the month, right? And make them on a regular basis. It needs to become habitual.
Right.
So if you're a salaried worker, as soon as your salary lands, whatever it is, 10%, 15%, 5%, 2%, 1%, whatever it is that you decide is appropriate,
set it aside.
Move that and set it aside. And then work out your life from what's remaining, right?
I see.
Then if you're a small business, then maybe make it, because your income fluctuates a bit, same principle, but make it a regular thing. And when you set up this savings account, make it a little bit, difficult to take the money out, so that you have to think before you do that. And the reason I'm saying that is, you may have a genuine need for the savings, but in terms of discipline, just give yourself the opportunity to really think about, is this the best use of this money at the time? Because what builds capital over time is compound interest, but it needs time to work, right? In terms of, how ABSA helps, there's a number of products, the standard savings products, the standard investment products, but I think there's one I would call out, which is our Target Safe. And this speaks directly to financial planning. So you're targeting, let's say you want to target a new fridge in 2 years' time. You can see that the old one is getting a bit tired, it needs replacement. Then, you can sit down with us and work out what it is you need to save to hit that target. That means you can now, know exactly what you need to put aside, you can be disciplined about that, and you know that you're working towards something tangible for you and your family.
Very well, thank you so much. Finance Director, ABSA Bank Ghana Limited, Mr. Kush Mukushe, really helping us appreciate the issue of financial planning and also building on from where we left off yesterday with regards to savings. This has been another episode of the honor series of the Citi Business Festival 2025. Thank you so much, Kush. We hope to see you some other time. The 2025 edition of the Citi Business Festival is powered by 97.3 Citi FM as well as Channel 1 TV. We are sponsored by ABSA Bank Ghana Limited, MTN Ghana Limited, as well as Zonatech Ghana Limited. I am Neil Atilati. Thank you so much for tuning in. We come your way again same time tomorrow.
Unleashing the power of relevant radio. This is Citi 97.3.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
Kids, no running. They grow up so fast.
Come here, guys. Who wants to watch their favorite show on GoTV?
Your family's favorite moments are made better with GoTV's shows. We've got loads of local, international, and kids channels, and all the football you need from the comfort of your home.
You can also watch your favorite shows wherever you are with GoTV Stream. Stick with GoTV and let's go together. GoTV. Love it.
Rise and shine. It's another day to stay on point. Toast is spread, it's still on point. Watch it spread, it's all day long. Still on point, yes, it's still on point.
It's still on point.
Watch it spread,
it's still on point.
For your bread,
it's still on point.
For your toast,
it's still on point.
It's yummy delicious,
it's still on point.
Still on point, yes, it's still on point.
It's still on point.
Still on point, yes, it's still on point.
It's still on point.
For your toast, it's still on point.
It's still on point.
Watch it spread, it's yummy delicious.
It's still on point.
Fortune
spread. Delicious, creamy, and always on point. This advert is FDA approved.
On the go, night or day. PBL is the easiest way. Bank secure, bank with ease. Right at your fingertips, bank is a breeze. PBL app making banking so clear. Anytime, anywhere we're here. Safe, secure, banking for you. PBL app, simple and true.
Welcome to the future of banking. The Prudential Bank mobile app. Bank secure anytime. Right from your phone. Access your accounts 24/7. Perform instant transactions. Pay bills. Link mobile money wallets. Scan and pay with GHQR. Manage your cards. Make seamless GIP interbank transfers. All with ease. No more banking hours. Take control and app your banking. Experience simple, secure and convenient banking. Download the PBL mobile app now. PBL mobile app. App your banking.
Hi, Mom, it's me, Kwame.
Hey, Kwame. How are you?
Mom, I'm fine, oh.
Okay.
You know something?
No, tell me.
I'm looking for a complete furniture set for my new place.
Kwame, I've told you before, the only one place you should go, eh?
Yeah, Mom, but I need a mattress to fit my bed.
Ash foam.
I need a bed to fit my room.
Ash foam.
What about a sofa where go relax my body?
Ash foam.
Wardrobes to fit all my clothes?
Ash foam.
What about linens and pillows for sweet dreams?
Kwame. Ash foam.
Mommy, that I feel you. Ash foam all the way.
For mattresses to beds, sofas, wardrobes, linens, pillows, and more, don't waste time and visit any Ashram showroom across the country or call our hotline at 0243 200 729. Ashfoam. Feel it, know it.
This is the City Breakfast Show. The city's biggest conversation. The City Breakfast Show. Rise above the noise.
Simple things of life that made us who we are. Have you missed your way? Sweet hour of prayer, sweet hour of prayer, from our lot here, sweet hour of prayer, sweet hour of prayer, sweet hour of prayer, from our lot here, sweet hour of prayer. And he binds me by my Father's throat. Yes, he do. Make all my want and wishes known. He made them know. Oh yeah, yeah. In seasons of distress and
10 minutes to the top of the hour. Morgan Heritage, Power of Prayer.
escape their temper.
I love it.
My strength is the power of prayer.
Some important announcements to bring you your messages. The gentlemen are still here with me in the studio. We'll tie it all up together beautifully. This is an account information update call from Omni Basic Bank to all our beautiful customers. Kindly proceed to any of our branches or visit our website omnibasic.com.ga to update your account records with your Ghana card. More information 03078 6000 080-010-0790. Have a beautiful day. Omni Basic Bank, not just another bank. Diamond Cement is the cement of choice for everyone who is seeking quality, from our 42.5 hour grade quality cement to 35.2 hour grade. We're rated green by the EPA. You deserve the very best, so choose Diamond Cement. Make us your number one. Deal with the company directly. Locate us. We have factories in Takrady, Aplao, and Buepe. But our shops, there are shops nationwide where you can find us. 0244-313-368, 0540-111-978. Diamond Cement, still as hard as a diamond. Chodek is calling you. We're bringing happiness right to your doorstep. Rain or shine, traffic or not, Chodek's got your back. Your favorite meals, daily groceries delivered straight to you from Ghana's most loved, trusted restaurants and vendors. Fast, fresh, and always reliable. So go ahead, Google app or App Store, download Show Deck, delivering happiness in Ghana every day. And to a dear valued shareholder, GCB Bank is committed to ensuring that your shares with us continue to thrive and yield positive results. Having accurate contact information on you enable us to communicate important dates and notifications regarding your shares directly to you. So we kindly request that you update your records with us, whether you have your telephone number, your email, everything. Just get them updated. Kindly visit any of our branches or visit www.gcbbank.com.gh, our shareholders portal, epay.gcbltd.com/99/shareholders portal. Go through the simple process and update your records. GCB Bank is your bank for life. Sky, today my lecturer, Professor Alex Berima, he's been promoted, to the position of full professor today.
Beautiful.
Yeah, Professor Alex Berima. He's at the Geography and Resource Department of the University of Ghana, Legon. Fantastic man, solid. He taught us GIS, Geographic Information Systems. Yeah, so Prof, congratulations to you.
Congratulations.
We celebrate with you.
Yep.
We are looking forward to greater heights and more impact. Yeah, so keep touching lives and doing all that you've been doing.
Brewing and, impacting knowledge.
Yes.
Professors are some of the finest things ever to happen to the world of academia.
Taking the ivory tower to town, the academic gown to town.
They soak everything and then help us to understand it.
Excellent.
So, it's a great thing that he's been promoted.
Excellent.
And we can only wish him the very best.
Sharp.
May he reach for the zenith of everything there is about the intellectual world.
Super.
And let the world celebrate him for the greatness that he has to offer.
Great. So, Kweku, finally, quick one is that the documentary airs tonight at 7 p.m., right?
Yes, it does.
Channel 1 television.
Channel 1 television, yes.
Okay, cool.
So, just tune in.
Tune in and watch what happened 10 years ago, and let's make that solemn pledge to do right by our nation, do the right thing. Oh, so I'm told the song Hour of Praise is Buju Banting and Gramps Morgan, not Morgan Heritage. Thank you, Skelly, for that one. I really do appreciate it.
Skelly, so you go.
He's doing the listening. 97.3.
No, so you go.
So we are
No, Skelly, we celebrate you. You are Charlie, you are on a different planet, man. We love you for what you do, and I miss you. At some point, we have to connect. Let me also say quickly that the matter we were talking about much earlier, the June 3 disaster.
Yeah.
So this morning, the One Ghana movement has been organizing an event to commemorate the victims.
Brilliant.
And, at the venue or the site of the disaster.
Right.
That ceremony, I'm not so sure if it's ended now.
Right. It's been underway, right?
Exactly. And my understanding is that they intend, beyond merely calling for, action to exact accountability and all of that, the One Ghana movement intends to launch a legal action to sort of exact accountability for and on behalf of the victims. I'm sure if in subsequent bulletins we'll be updating listeners on exactly what their demands are, the nature of the suit that they are filing, and what they seek to get out of the same. But as I've mentioned earlier, there are some issues around statute of limitation or the Limitation Act. Let's see how
all that pans out.
But I mean, whatever effort that has got to be made to ensure that people who played a part in this particular matter are brought to some form of justice, no matter how delayed, that should be done.
So
of course,
important.
the state itself has a responsibility where it failed to ensure that the lives we lost were protected. I mean, the state must also answer some questions because in many cases they were in a position to enforce the laws that require contractors to build in a particular way. If it is the filling station that did not do the right thing, of course, questions have got to be asked.
Culpability must be placed where culpability lies.
Exactly. If it was the what do you call it, the drain that was not, the drainage system that was not functional, of course, there has got to be liability at some point. So I support the call that they continue to make. We hope that the action it's properly prosecuted, and let the court decide whether it falls within the normal exceptions that are normally invoked to allow some of these things happen.
Fantastic. For me, I also hope that beyond that, then we are able to learn. History has an interesting way of playing back. President Mahama was the president at the time. This was 2015. You could say that by the time it was 2016, we got into election year and the focus must have changed. But if you listen to what he said 10 years ago, Mr. President, you're doing the listening. It's time to live by what you promised. We need to take some hard decisions, and your appointees must be up and doing. You've set up the anti-flood task force. You've been around the city yourself to check on some of these projects that are built on waterways. This dawn, I went to this area, Lakeside, that got flooded very recently. If you get to Lakeside, before you even go to where the estates are, you take that sharp curve to the right, just go to the left. You can see the lake, and someone has filled the place and built a structure I'm told was erected in less than 4 months. Was completely completed. You know, and the whole stretch, you can tell, it's a waterlogged area. It has been filled. The road is not properly done. People come and be demanding roads, and you will check, and they actually filled it and built there, and they are now asking roads to be built on a waterway. We can't continue that way. We are seeing too many reeds, wetlands being filled, and we are not recovering them. So the little that is left, I think we should protect them also. It may not be Circle, maybe somewhere else. It may not have a gas station.
That night there were floods in at least 5 major areas of Accra. That night, Jansuma was flooded, Domi was flooded. There were several.
Even Legon campus was flooded.
So,
man's got to do what man's
10 years down the
do.
road.
So kudos for the documentary. I can't wait to watch it. And you'll hear from me thereafter. And congratulations. And also, may the souls of those who perished continue to rest in peace. And then also people who are still living with the horror of that disaster.
I think they are the ones we really need to think about.
Pray for healing. But there must be accountability.
Kweku David, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Richard the Last Guy, thank you so much. Earlier you heard Bernardino Kokuavle. I am Caleb Kuda. We're here with Susu Graham, Fred Tete Jabano, thank you, Edwin Kwakofi, Samuel Akom, and the man, Abeku Odum, the richest man. Antina will be coming to class very shortly, so wait for her here up on the airwaves. In the meantime, it's time for the news, and Sheba Araba Bening is here with the news. Good morning.
Good morning, Caleb. Coming up, Ashanti Regional Chairman Bernard Aintree Boesiako's health worsens after release from Iyoko custody, and lawyers for former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta dare OSP to proceed with extradition process. To the details of our stories now. The legal team for MPP Ashanti Regional Chairman Bernard Aintree Boesiako, popularly known as Chairman Wontumi, says their client's health has worsened following his release from Iyoko custody. Wontumi, who had been held for several days amid investigations into alleged financial crimes, was granted a 50 million Ghana cedis bail with 2 sureties on May 28, which was fulfilled by May 30. Speaking on the Channel 1 newsroom, one of the lawyers, Enoch Afuakwa, revealed that Chairman Wontumi is currently unwell and requires urgent medical attention and rest before deciding on his next steps.
At this current stage, I don't think that he has a sound. He's into his full frames of mind because of his ailing condition. When you see him, you can clearly see that his health has deteriorated, of which he needs medical attention. I believe that after some few days of rest,